Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is story about what if Naruto wasn't such an idiot and shakes all of the elemental nations part 1. Before I start, please do support for more amazing content and comments for part 2. Do consider to subscribe my channel and share my video to your friends and check out the description as well. Let's start the video. Konoha, village hidden in the leaves, is one of 5 great shinobi villages and it's said to be the strongest. Konoha won the 3rd Great Shinobi World War and one of this war heroes was Minato Namikaze. Minato alone killed hundreds of Iwagakure shinobi with his Hiraishin no Jutsu, earring himself the bingo named Konoha no Kiroi Senko, Konoha's Yellow Flash, who would later become the Yondaime Hokage of Konoha, said to be strongest shinobi at that time. But he sacrificed himself for Konoha to defeat Kyuubi no Yoko. 5 years ago Konoha almost was destroyed by the attack of Kyuubi no Yoko, Nine-Tailed Fox. Had it not been for the Yondaime, the fox would have destroyed his home village, but he managed to defeat it, at the cost of his life. It wasn't just his life that he sacrificed but one other, Uzumaki Naruto. He was born that day minutes before the fox attacked, and Yondaime sealed the fox into the little baby. Knowledge of the fox being sealed was only known by the adults because Sandaime, newly reinstalled Hokage, passed laws that forbid anyone to talk about it. With those laws, the younger generation doesn't know about the fox being sealed and thinks Kyuubi was killed. You would think that Naruto would be seen as hero for having to carry such a big burden and protect everyone from the fox. It would if it was an ideal world, but it's far from it. 5 years old Naruto was hated by almost everyone. Half the civilians hated him and thought him to be the fox itself. The other half pretended he didn't exist, and just a few have respect for him. Shinobi of the village are a little different. Some hated him, a lot of them just ignored him, but there are some who respect and view him as a hero and wanted to help him, adopt him, but because of the civilian council and some from Shinobi council it was impossible. So he was left alone in an orphanage for 5 years. Naruto, while in the orphanage, he wasn't liked by most of the children. In fact, he was bullied. The caretakers did nothing, and if he fought back he was punished. But there was one caretaker, Yumi, who respected him and helped whenever she could. After 3 years in the orphanage, Naruto was a lot more mature than most of the children. He needed to grow up fast if he wanted to survive. On his 3rd birthday, Yumi gave him some books and taught him how to read and write. It didn't take long, and from that point Yumi brought him different books whenever she could so that Naruto could read and learn. It has been 2 years since he learned to read, and it helped Naruto to mature greatly. At first it was children books that Yumi brought him, but when he read about ninja he instantly knew who he will become. Naruto asked Yumi if she could get him books about how to become shinobi, but she couldn't because even basic information was only available for Shinobi Academy students, and she couldn't get him any. Asking Old Man Hokage didn't help either. Old Man told Naruto he was too young, so he was left with the only option he could think: sneak into the library at night. It's not like he would even be allowed into library at all, saying that demons didn't need to learn. That's one thing that didn't make any sense to Naruto. He had read about demons, and he didn't look or acted like one. He had asked why they called him that. Civilians said he is one, that's why they called him that. An old man just said to forgive them and that they don't know anything. After some time he just gave up asking them. If even Old Man Hokage didn't tell him and continued to lie to him, then he wasn't going to trust him. In the last 2 years, after reading everything he could about shinobi, he managed to access his chakra before his 4th birthday, and he now can do water walking and tree climbing. He couldn't find any jutsu, so he concentrated on theory of chakra and jutsu making. Naruto was able to find a book about Fuinjutsu, but it was just basic and had only theory about it. Naruto had found that there was another section of library where Chunins and higher rank shinobi can only go, but it's protected by seals and Naruto didn't have knowledge to disable them. So he was stuck with basics. But today, after another failed attempt to convince Hokage to let him attend academy, Naruto decided to just sneak into academy library and borrow some books. It's not like it's so bad. Children from clans get extra training and they have parents to help them, so he needs to train too. And now Naruto is running the academy hallways looking for its library. Come on, where is that stupid library? Thought Naruto as he continued looking for the library. I've been here almost 5 minutes. I can't waste any more. Found it as fast as he could. He got to library and made his way in. Naruto was a little puzzled. He thought it would be harder to get in, or maybe the library would be sealed too, but he found nothing. He didn't complain, better for him. First thing he did was look for jutsu. He needed something that would help him in the future. He noticed that civilians started to get a little too brave. It was just a matter of time until they started to beat him too. He needed something he could protect himself with. So he started looking for anything he would need. About an hour later Naruto was sitting in his secret hideout. It was a cave about a mile away from the Hokage monument. He had found it 4 months ago. It was concealed by rocks and bushes. If you didn't know where it was, it's almost impossible to find. Naruto spread his scrolls and books he gotten from the academy and smiled. This is going to help me greatly. All that's left is to learn them, said Naruto, happy to learn something new. Naruto managed to find Henji no Jutsu, Kawarimi no Jutsu and Bunshin no Jutsu. There were more jutsu, but these will help him escape from villagers. He couldn't hurt them or he would get in trouble, and he didn't need it. Naruto also found a book about elemental affinities. He read a little at the library, and he thought it would help him be stronger. He also got a book about meditation. He knew that he was impulsive and a lot of times acted without thinking, and he hoped this meditation thing will help him. He got a book about physical training too. He needed to start training his body. If he was too slow to do techniques, then it wouldn't do anything good. He got Academy Taijutsu style too. For now it'll be good enough. The best thing was that he found 2 books about Fuinjutsu, and it had seals and how to make them too. If he could learn everything from these books, maybe he could get into Chunin and above library section. That would help him a lot. Time skipped 2 years. Naruto 7 years. Last 2 years for Naruto were interesting to say the least. The books he got from the academy the first time helped him tremendously. He learned everything from them in under 6 months. And meditation helped him the most. He meditated at least an hour and tried to feel his chakra network and regulate its flow. It also boosted his control significant, and it helped him concentrate a lot better too. He was able to master only 2 jutsu. Bunshin no jutsu was impossible to learn for him. At first he thought it was because he didn't have control for his large chakra reserve, but about a year ago he learned that his chakra was much more dense and potent than natural, and he couldn't do simple jutsu like Bunshin because it required too little for it to work, and he always overpowered the jutsu. His physical training progressed better than he thought. He was able to increase his overall performance every week, and his newer ending stamina helped a lot too. He wanted to buy training weight, but like always he was thrown from shop. So he concerned on increasing his speed and strength. Naruto also learned that he had wind and water affinities. He had to sneak into shop to get these chakra papers to test his affinities, but it was worth the trouble. Naruto found out that he had strong wind affinity, which will suit him just fine. He was really proud of his affinity and mastery over it. In the book he got the only control exercise was to split the leaf, but he improvised and started on splitting a puddle, then a rock. And just last month he managed to split a boulder, and is thinking of new exercises. Another area he's proud of is Fuinjutsu. After reading these 2 books he got from the academy, he managed to create his own seals. And after some time he created a seal that let him get into the library, for was able to get 2 more books for Fuinjutsu. Some books about chakra control and jutsu scrolls, but he couldn't find any for his wind element. Naruto also started reading about jutsu making and hand signs. He still wasn't far in it, and he couldn't ask anyone for help. He started the academy last year after one particular incident. The Hokage agreed to let him attend the academy, and it wasn't worth it. Just the first month he stopped trying to get good marks. Every teacher there was trying to sabotage his education. Some ignored him during lessons, others even thrown him out of class. He was better on his own. One reason he wanted to attend academy was because on his 6th birthday a mob ganged up on him and beat him up. That wasn't pleasant, so he asked Hokage to attend academy so he could protect himself. He also got an apartment. After a month in his new apartment his doors was full of graffiti. Now Naruto was sneaking out of the village and into his secret place. He needed to hide if someone would want to gang up on him again. Because today was his 7th birthday, and he couldn't even defend himself. Last time he hurt some drunk civilians he almost got executed. And he didn't need to receive any more attention to himself. He would have been there earlier, but old man Hokage came to congratulate him. Now he needed to be extra careful not to be spotted by shinobi or civilians. He thought it would have been better if Kyuubi had stomped on them all. They call him a monster and treat him even worse than trash, and he didn't do anything. He read how Konoha is the most peaceful village with wonderful people. What a load bull. Naruto was almost at the staircase to the Hokage monument. He could get there faster with Shunshin no Jutsu, but he didn't want to use chakra or it might alert ninjas, and he knew he wasn't strong enough to defeat several Chunins or Jonins. A Genin he could easily defeat and escape, and maybe have a chance against one Chunin but not multiple opponents. As he started climbing staircase he thought if it would be better if he left the village, maybe then his life would be better. His thoughts there interrupted by someone's voice. Hey guys. I found the demon brat. The voice shouted. Naruto spun around and saw a couple of civilians. He was about to make a run for it, then he felt a sharp pain in the back of his head. This can't be good was his last thoughts as darkness claimed him. Naruto's mind space. Naruto looked around and found he's in some kind of sewer. It was dark with pipes on the wall that pulsed, one blue and another red. Where the hell am I? He began walking in the direction the pipes were coming from. Naruto entered a huge room after what felt like hours. The room was huge, and there are bars as tall as Hokage monument. On the bars is a paper with the word for seal. Wow, these are big bars, but how the hell did I get here? Naruto got closer to the bars. I would like to know the same thing, said booming voice. Naruto jumped hearing the voice beyond the bars. He took several steps back, a little frightened. Who's there? Naruto shouted. He really hoped that these bars would protect him from anyone that was there. As he said that, 2 big red silted eyes emerged from the darkness, followed by a huge fox head and body with 9 tails. I asked what you are doing here, said Fox with the same booming voice. Naruto didn't know what to do. There, in front of him is Fox with 9 tails and as tall as Hokage Mountain. He really didn't know what to do. The only fox with 9 tails he knew was Kyuubi, and it was killed by Gendarme Hokage. It couldn't be that he was killed, could it? But if he was, then what is he doing in front of Kyuubi? He really needed answers. You're Kyuubi, right? The fox just nodded. Yeah, the last thing I remember is climbing the stairs to the Hokage mountain, then some civilians found me. I didn't have time to escape, then I felt sharp pain in the back of my head. Next thing I knew I'm standing in a sewer. Am I dead? Asked Naruto. He really didn't want to be dead yet. The fox just continued to look at Naruto doing nothing. No, you're not dead, you're in your mind. This is a representation of the seal that imprisons me and you, stated the fox. Now for Naruto it felt like a veil was lifted from his eyes. All these years he wanted to know why he was treated like that. And now he knew. And that made him mad. Everyone knew except him. He remembered times when the Hokage told him to forgive everyone, that they would accept him, that some people just didn't understand him. Everything was just a lie, it was just so he wouldn't kill anyone. It could be that the Hokage also knew who his parents were and just didn't tell him. No way is he going to stay here. Why should he stay here? He protected everyone from the fox and they treated him like it. But he can't run now, he isn't strong enough. The Hokage would send ninja to get him back, especially if he knew the Kyuubi is sealed in him. He was too valuable for the village. Maybe he could let the fox out if it didn't harm him in the process, and wouldn't attack him. While Naruto was deep in thought, Kyuubi was staring at his container. It was rather interesting to see this tiny human as his face showed various emotions: shock, realization, anger, and then thoughtful. This boy was really interesting. He was just 7 years old, but he was very smart and mature for his age. Kyuubi had caught glimpses of his container's life over the years. The seal was still very strong, so the fox just saw some of the things that the boy did, his training, the villagers, the Hokage. Typical humans, greedy, hateful, brainless monkeys ruled by their hatred. It would be interesting to know of this one's reaction now that he knew why he was hated. What would happen if I let you free? Naruto asked simply. Huh? Shock was evident. Kyuubi wasn't expecting that. It thought that maybe the boy would shout or demand why, but not this. You would die. Not knowing how to answer him, that wouldn't be good. So we're stuck together? Do you know what this seal does? Now that he knew of his situation, he needed to step up his training. It's going to be hard if he didn't want anyone knowing about it. He couldn't trust anyone if he wanted to leave the village. He needed a plan, a place where to go. He'll have to be careful. Well, this is new. I certainly didn't expect that, thought the fox. All I know about this seal is that it siphons some of my chakra and converts it to your own. But because of this seal I can't recover any. It wasn't overly concerned about that. I would take too much time to drain all its chakra, and when the seal weakens the fox will be able to recover her lost chakra. Wow, that's kind of good for me. Well, I already thought of leaving this village, now it's certain. They call me a demon, but they're more of a demon than I'll ever be, and I refuse to be a sacrifice for them. I'm not going to destroy Konoha for revenge, they're not worth it. But I refuse to let them ruin my life. Kyuubi clearly heard Naruto's determination. Kyuubi just stared at the boy. She would admit that this boy is certainly different from her previous hosts. They treated her like a plague, almost never talking. She got here in the first place because of that damned Uchiha. Maybe she should help him. It certainly would be better than being here all alone. Her previous containers certainly weren't pleasant, especially in Kushina. It hurt like hell to be pinned to a boulder with spikes. You're really interesting for a human. How would you like some help with your training? I don't know any of those jutsu, but I do have a vast amount of knowledge. It would certainly help you. And for it I want you to remodel this mind space. You should be able to. It's your mind. I would have asked for access to your senses, but the seal is still too strong. She wanted some comfort. After years of being pinned to the boulder, being in here was a big improvement, but she wanted more freedom. Naruto was stunned. Kyuubi is offering him help in exchange for remodeling his mind. Well, he certainly could understand. Who would like to be caged in a sewer? But he thought that fox would demand to be released, threaten, or other things. But until now it's been almost a pleasant conversation. All I have to do is change my mind space in exchange for your help? It's a little strange. All the books I read about you said that you were a demon bent on destroying the world. Okay, I accept your offer. So how do I change this place? It would certainly be good to have Kyuubi on his side. It's you humans that label everything you don't understand as demons. Not everything is as it looks at first. And to change this place all you have to do is imagine how everything should look. You just need to concentrate, and imagine what this place should look like. Now it looks like this because of your emotions. She was eager for some changes. Okay, I'll try. Naruto closed his eyes and concentrated. At first nothing happened, but after a couple of minutes, the sewer changed to a clearing of the forest surrounded by huge trees taller than Kyuubi. In the corner was a lake with a waterfall. Everywhere there were flowers and some that didn't even exist. The sky was dark and the moon was like the sun, illuminating everything. In place of the bars now Kyuubi has intricate seals around its neck. It worked, said Naruto as he looked around. As Kyuubi looked around, she really liked this. It was a long time since she last seen anything remotely close to this. This is really bountiful, Naruto. Kyuubi looked around, admiring the view. What are you going to teach me? Naruto was eager to learn, especially from Kyuubi. First you need to learn how to access my chakra, or yoki as it's known. We can't speak if you're not here, so you have to draw a small amount of my yoki and channel it into yourself. That will make a connection between us, and we will be able to speak. Until then you can come in here as you go to sleep. She was lying on the soft grass, enjoying the feel of it. But won't other shinobi sense your chakra, a yoki? I don't want to attract too much attention just yet. I first need to think of a plan on how to escape this place, and make sure that they won't be able to follow me. Naruto needed to think of a plan how he could escape this village. The amount needed for us to communicate is relatively small so it wouldn't be detected, but you still don't know how to access or channel it so it could be detected when you try to learn. You could find some place and put seals up so that it wouldn't allow any power surges to be detected. I'm still not that good with seals that I could create one for that kind of barrier. And I don't know where to get any more books about Fuinjutsu. He really wanted to learn more about seals but he couldn't find any more info about it. Your Hokage must have some. It should be in the Hokage's library. You just need to figure out how to get there and borrow them for you to learn. She remembered when Mito was in the library, where there was plenty of scrolls about Fuinjutsu. Her personal notes would be at her compound. Maybe later she should tell the boy about his heritage since by the looks of it he doesn't know anything. But it's better for him to mature a little more, and have a plan ready for leaving the village. They could go to Yuzushiobikure. But how? I don't think the Hokage would just let me in, and it would be heavily guarded. Kyubi thought for a minute. Do you think you could make a seal to copy books and scrolls and also remote detonation explosion seals? Then you have everything. Go to the Hokage and say you want to learn about seals, and when he goes into the library you go along, and once inside detonate explosives for a distraction. He will leave you there because he wouldn't risk you. It wasn't hard to think of a plan. Wow, that's rather simple, why didn't I think of it? Explosive seals I could make, but for copying I need some time. He'll need to do more research to make a copying seal. Right then, you need to wake up. If you want to come here again you need to concentrate on the seal on your stomach and channel a little chakra and imagine entering it. For now it's the only way for you to come here. You still need to practice meditation a little more. Oh, I suggest you make a seal that would detect other seals. I can feel that there are more than one on you. Okay, how do I get out of here? The thought of some seals on him that he didn't know sent shivers down his spine. Just think about going to the outside world. Naruto concentrated and the next thing he knew he's in a hospital room and all of his body ached. Ugh, where am I? Groaned Naruto. He hated hospitals. Easy my boy, you still need time to fully recover. Naruto heard a voice. He looked to his left and seen the Hokage. He almost cursed. He really started to hate the old man. How are you feeling? The Hokage looked concerned. Like someone beat me up pretty bad. He needed to play his stupid self. Hokage flinched a little. He really wanted to help Naruto, but with the council it's almost impossible. It's going to be okay. People sometimes just don't understand. Naruto almost laughed at that. Why do they hate me? I didn't do anything. Why won't they leave me alone? Naruto cried. He was proud of his acting. They say that shinobi best tool is deception, so he's going to use it to the fullest. It's going to be okay. They just have to know you and they will come to like you. The Hokage didn't want Naruto to know about Kyubi. He was still too young. Okay, I'll become Hokage and everyone will respect me. Believe it. It almost made him sick. Become Hokage for people that would rather see him dead? There's just no way that's happening. The Hokage smiled. He knew that Naruto see it that way. The will of fire burns brightly in him. Good luck my boy, I have work to do. I'll see you later. The Hokage stood up and left Naruto to his thoughts. Bye old man. Now I need to think of a plan how to escape from the village. But first I need to learn everything I can from here. Time skipped 2 months later. Hiruzen Sarurobi, Sandaime Hokage, nicknamed God of Shinobi, was relaxing after finishing his most hated enemy, paperwork. Now he was reading one of the best books in the world, Ika Paradise. It was 2 months since he saw Naruto. He wondered how he was doing. As if on cue his office doors opened with a bang and in walked Naruto in his ever-present orange jumpsuit. Hey old man. Can you help me? Naruto, how can I help you today? The Hokage smiled at Naruto. The last 2 months for Naruto were very busy. He managed to make the explosive seals relative easy, and now in the village there are 2 seals that would explode when he channeled a small amount of chakra into the seal on his hand. One seal he placed on the east gate. It would attract a lot of attention. And the second is more personal. He placed seals on the face of the Yondaime Hokage. First Naruto would detonate one on the gate, and the next one after 30 minutes. That way it'll give him more time. Now all he needed is to convince the old man to let him in the library. Old man, can you teach me how to do those cool tricks that all kinds of things come out of scroll? It looks so cool. I want to learn it too. He had thought of what to say for a couple of days, and he was sure he could convince Hokage. Hokage looked at Naruto trying to think of what he meant. Come out of scroll. The only thing I could think of is Fuinjutsu, but it's too dangerous for him just yet. On the other hand, this could help Naruto greatly. He is an Uzumaki, and maybe he would calm down a little. Do you mean seals? Like this one? Hokage took a scroll and applied some chakra, and in a puff of smoke another scroll come out. Yeah, that? It's so cool, can you teach me it? Naruto thought there should be a prize for acting, and he would win easily. It isn't easy to fool a Hokage. Naruto, this is Fuinjutsu, and it's one of the most difficult shinobi arts. And it not only can seal things but there are explosive seals, you could even seal jutsu into scroll. It's really dangerous art. And it takes many years to learn this art, said Sarutobi seriously. He needed for Naruto to understand how difficult it is. It can do all these things too? You got to teach me. I'll become Hokage in no time and everyone will respect me. Okay, I'll let you learn it and ask you some questions to how much progress you made. There are some books about Fuinjutsu at the library that what is it Naruto? The Hokage saw that Naruto was looking at the floor with a pained expression. I'm not allowed into library, they say I don't deserve to learn. Naruto shifted uncomfortable and at the academy no one even said what it was and just ignored me. He let small tear fall from the corner to make it more believable. These ignorant fools, I'll have to have a small talk with them. How can people hold a grudge for so long? Don't worry Naruto, I'll have a talk with them. I'll give you some books to start with. The Hokage began walking towards the wall. Look Naruto, it's one of a few uses for Fuinjutsu. He stopped in front of wall. The Hokage bit his thumb and made some hand seals then pressed it to the wall. A second later it glowed a little and revealed a door. Wow, that was so cool. Fuinjutsu is so amazing. Maybe he could make something similar around his secret cave. It would hide him, and he could train himself. Yeah, it is. This is the Hokage's library so you can't tell anyone about it, and then I am giving you a book from it. Okay? Of course, I won't tell anyone. It's a promise. And the Hokage smiled. I'm glad, come here. The Hokage entered the library. The library was full of scrolls and books. Naruto thought it was going to take some time for him to seal everything, but it would be worth it. The old man took a couple of books from one of the shelves and motioned for Naruto to come closer. These books are for beginners and it should take you a couple of months to read and understand everything. I'll ask some questions to see how good you become. The Hokage would have continued but was interrupted. Now's the time. Naruto channeled chakra to the seal on his arm. A second later there was a large explosion that was heard easily in all of Konoha. What? What was that? Naruto faked looking a little scared. The Hokage was about to run to look what that explosion was, but looked at Naruto. I can't take him. Someone could be attacking and I can't risk getting Naruto into the crossfire. I'll have to leave him here. It's the safest place. I'll have to seal the door so no one would ask questions. The Hokage quickly made his way out of the library. Stay here, and wait for me. I'll come and get you later. You can read these books I gave you. And with that he exited the library, not seeing Naruto smirk as he resealed the vault again. That was perfect. I don't know how much time I have, but I need to hurry and copy all these scrolls and books. Naruto began copying first the things he needed the most. This copy seal was his most prized seal he had made until now. It took most of 2 months to come up with it, and then design it, but he succeeded. This seal was on a tag, he just needed to place it on a book or scroll and channel chakra and it would make a copy of it. It just consumes more chakra the bigger the scroll or book is. He was glad to have so much of it. He hoped he had enough chakra for the most important scrolls and books and here some of these books and scrolls are really big. With the Hokage. While Naruto was copying scrolls and books, Konoha is in chaos. Civilians are running like headless chickens, shinobi looking everywhere for the ones responsible. And the Hokage was running towards the gate where the explosion was. As the Hokage was nearing the gate he could see that the right side of the gate was lying on the ground. How did this happen? These gates should have endured even powerful jutsu attacks. How did it break? They're reinforced with seals and shouldn't have broken so easily. The Hokage stopped near the gate. Hokage-sama. Came the voice off the Umbu with a lion mask. Lion, status report, did you find who is responsible for this? Are there any victims? And how did it happen? There are no casualties. Civilians are in panic, but we're trying to calm them down. Every available shinobi from Chunin and Jonin are looking for who is responsible but we still didn't find him. From what we could gather, we think it was explosive tags, and from the damage it had done we are positive that they have been placed in key points. They were more powerful than normal explosive tags too. This is not good. Someone managed to get into the village undetected and even placed explosives right on the gate. How did they pass the barrier undetected, unless it was someone from the inside? If so we have a spy. But what purpose does this have? He needed to figure out what's happening. Lion informed the council that they have 10 minutes to get to the meeting. Yes, Hokage-sama. Anbu disappeared in a shunshin. The Hokage too started running towards the tower. He could see as Genin and some Chunin there calming civilians. As the Hokage was almost at the tower there was another explosion. Hiruzen stopped and looked at the direction the explosion occurred and couldn't believe what he saw. The Hokage Mountain, the most prized monument of Konoha, was damaged. More precisely Yondaime Hokage's face. It just lost his nose. If it wasn't this serious I would have laughed. Now it looked really silly. He quickly ran there to see if there's any casualties or spotted the culprit but there was none. He started going back to Hokage Tower for the council meeting. 10 minutes later the council was assembled as the Hokage came through the door and sat in his seat. As you all know there was some explosions, sewn on the east gate and one on the Yondaime's face. There are no casualties, but the culprit wasn't found either. Shikaku, what do you think about this incident, and what purpose would it do? The Hokage looked at Shikaku Nara. Shikaku Nara, Jonin commander, also member of the famous Ino Shikacho team. Shikaku is the best strategist in Konoha and with his help managed to win a lot of battles. He and his team also didn't see Naruto as Kyuubi and at one point even tried to adopt him but were stopped by the civilian council as they are responsible for that kind of paperwork. I'm sure it's the work of a spy, but for what purpose it was done for I don't know. It wouldn't do them any good, because they are alerting us with their presence. If it was only the gate that was blown it could serve for invasion, but there was none. As for damaging Yandame's face, I don't see a purpose, other than personal, or it could be a distraction for something, but there wasn't anything reported yet. Or it was just to see if they could get their objection now, and this is just a test run. The Hokage looked thoughtful as he thought what to do next. Shikaku, I want you to gather a team and look through Genin and Chunin files, also the last 2 months' gate reports. If you find anything suspicious, report to me. The Hokage didn't like having spies in his village. Yes, Hokage-sama. I also want our security tightened. I don't want this kind of thing happening again. We have been too complacent with it. We have to discuss who could have motives to do this. This is going to be a long day. With Naruto, it has been over 3 hours since he first entered the vault, and it was an hour since he finished copying everything. With everything he got, Naruto thought he wouldn't need anything new for quite a while. Best part was that he got a lot of Fuinjutsu scrolls and books. He even got in the Yandane's and Jiraiya's books about the sealing art, and also some of their notes. There was also some old scrolls with some form of advanced seals. That would help him greatly. He got quite a bit of Winjutsu too. He also got some good books about advanced chakra control and nature manipulation. Naruto was reading the book for beginners on Fuinjutsu, and waiting for the Hokage to come back. He found that this book explained a lot more than the one in the other library. Hell, he would need to read everything he got. He was about to just go to sleep when the doors opened and the Hokage stepped in. Naruto, I hope you didn't do anything dangerous in here. He really hoped he didn't do anything dangerous in here. Old man, where have you been this long? And I've been reading this book you gave me. Seals are so cool, you can do anything. It said that you could seal people too, did you know that? I'll become Hokage in no time, and you'll have to give me that hat of yours. The Hokage smiled at Naruto. He was glad that Naruto finally found something that interested him. Maybe he will stop his pranks. Or he will use seals for his pranks. The Hokage palled at that thought. The paperwork could triple, but he couldn't deny him now. He'll have to make Naruto promise that he wouldn't use any seals for pranks. Yes, seals are really a powerful art. Naruto, I want you to promise me that you wouldn't use any seals for your pranks. Can you promise that? Hiruzen didn't want for the village to be in any more chaos than it already is. But why? I already thought off some amazing pranks. That was true. He really wanted to do some pranks with seals. It would be amazing. If you promise me that I'll help you with the seals if you are stuck on something, how about it? He really didn't want any more paperwork. Naruto thought for a minute, thinking how he could benefit from it. Okay, but you have to buy me some sealing supplies. I don't think anyone would sell me any. This way he wouldn't need to worry about it, and have more money left for other things. Of course no one would sell him. Maybe that's why he only eats ramen, because he couldn't buy anything else. I'll have someone deliver him some sealing supplies and food too. Okay, we have a deal. Come, it's time for you to go home, I have a lot of work to do. They exited the vault, and the Hokage started to reseal the doors. Naruto just looked through the window and smiled at his work. If he couldn't punch the Yandame, then it was the next best thing. It's time for finishing his act. Old man, the Yandame nose is gone. Where did it go? He wanted to laugh, it looked so funny. That was the explosion earlier. We still haven't found the culprit. Who could have done it? The Yandame is the greatest hero. I would like to know that too. You can go home now. I'll have someone deliver you some supplies later. He was glad that Naruto admired Minato. Okay, see you, old man. Naruto made his way out of the office. 15 minutes later, Naruto was sitting on his bed looking through his Fuinjutsu book. Now it's time to step up my training. I'll need to be able to defend against multiple Chunin and maybe a Jonin if I want to have a chance to escape from here. Naruto started reading his book. Determined, become stronger. Naruto was mad. No, he was pissed. He finally finished his latest project, the seal detection seal. When activated, it would show any seal in a 3-meter radius that it detected. It would also make them glow. And what he found out wasn't pleasant. It has been 8 months since Naruto made a copy of the Hokage library. First Naruto immersed himself into Fuinjutsu, and now he has read almost all the books and scrolls he got. One thing he was thankful for was the Kage Bunshin. He had found it as he was looking through the scrolls he copied and found it. At first he thought it would be good replacement for regular Bunshin, but after reading its functions, he thought it was a godsend. So for 3 months Naruto was leaving his clones in secluded area behind the Hokage mountain to do chakra control and practice his elemental manipulation. He was still looking for a good place to practice jutsu. If he wasn't careful he could be found out because of chakra spikes and noise. So he was left to do chakra control and elemental manipulation. One clone last month that was assigned to think of control exercises, that if he could achieve high enough mastery of wind, he could be able to fly. He had come up with the theory and had tried, but he could just launched himself into the air. It was possible to achieve it, but he just needed to put a lot more work in it. Naruto also started practicing taijutsu styles that the clones read and did his psychical workout himself. He needed to have strength and speed for his taijutsu. His relationship with Kyuubi improved too. Now it's more of a teacher-student relationship. Naruto would go to his mind space almost every night. There the Kyuubi would tell him history and tactics. Sometimes the fox would give him some pointers for his training too so he could improve more. Kyuubi was more of a friend for Naruto than anyone in Konoha, which was kind of ironic. Now Naruto was sitting in his cave behind the Hokage mountain. He had placed seals inside and outside of the cave for detection and chakra suppression. He was still experimenting on seals for a barrier. He needed just a little more time to complete them. Inside the cave, Naruto and a couple of his clones were there preparing the seals that would get rid of the ones on him. He had finished his seal detection seal and found out that he had 4 more seals besides the one that imprisoned Kyuubi on him. He had a chakra suppression seal, a psychical suppression seal, a death seal and a mental suppression seal. The last one wasn't activated, and for that he thanked Kami. He couldn't help but shudder at the thought of it being activated and making him a complete idiot. The seals that were almost completed, he just needed to make sure everything was perfect. Everything is ready, boss. The clones finished checking the seals, signaling that it was good to go. Okay, I'm ready too. You can activate the seal. Naruto was sitting in the middle of the seal, naked from waist up and seals drawn on him. One clone bends near the seal's outer edge and made some hand seals and slammed his hands on the seal. Sealing art, seal destruction, shouted the clone, and the seal lit up. It started to retreat to Naruto and concentrated on 4 different places on his body. Naruto was grinding his teeth from the pain. He didn't think it would hurt this much. After a couple more minutes there was a burst of chakra and the seals faded and Naruto fainted from the strain. Naruto groaned as he woke up. He felt different. It felt like weights were lifted from him. He could feel his chakra running more freely, and he could easily tell that he has almost 3 times more than he previous had. It was even denser now. He'll have to do chakra control from the beginning, but with the Kage Bunshin Jutsu it would be just a couple of months. He'll have to retrain his elemental manipulation and psychical training too. Then I'll find who placed those seals on me. I'm going to kill them. He really didn't like to retrain almost everything again. After 10 minutes he was able to regain his motion control. He exited his cave and made as many clones as he could. Even with his control almost back to 0, he still managed to make approximately 800 clones. Wow, that's a lot more than last time. Even then my control was good. I still could only make around 600. With this army I'll have my control back in a month, if not faster. At least one thing came out of this that was good. Okay, you know what to do. Practice chakra control until you're out of it, ordered Naruto to his clones, and started doing his psychical training. Now I have to step up my psychical training. As it is now I couldn't even outrun a civilian. 10 years since Kyuubi attack. It has been 10 years since the Kyuubi attack, and Konoha is having one of the biggest festivals. Almost everyone is celebrating, there are huge parades, and even the Hokage will be making a speech. But one individual wasn't celebrating. He was making his way to the Hokage tower. This mysterious individual creeping through the shadows is Naruto Uzumaki, supposedly dead last prankster, and Kyuubi Jinchuriki. For the last 2 years Naruto trained his body almost every day until he couldn't move, and with his healing he could see his improvements almost daily. His speed is low Jonin and his strength around Chunin, or at least he thought so. He couldn't really compare it to anyone. As for his speed, he had plenty to measure against after his pranks. And he always outrun them. They couldn't compare to his stamina. His chakra control couldn't get better, with 400 clones doing chakra control exercises almost daily. It didn't take long for him to get to the point where he just needed to maintain it. Naruto was really proud of his elemental manipulation. After he took off those seals and tested his affinities with chakra paper, he found out that his wind affinity was a lot stronger, if the shredded paper was any indication. He also was shown to have a water affinity too. It wasn't as high as his wind, but it was high enough. His training with wind element was the most fruitful. Now he has almost 500 clones attempting to learn to fly with his wind affinity. In theory it's simple, he just needs to gather and compress air at his feet and he could stand on air and to expel a stream to fly. Sounds simple, but practically it's almost impossible. It took him the whole year with 500 clones just to learn how to stand on air. Now he's trying to learn to fly. It's still far from complete, but in the end it would be worth it. While the original him was doing psychical training, he had his clones assigned to improve on his Fuinjutsu and come up with some seals that would help him. Naruto also had some clones experimenting with some seals to see if he could discover anything new. And he was pretty happy with the results. He had made a seal that combined with his wind manipulation would make a small layer of wind surround him that would mask his scent and sound. Furthermore, he also added a seal that masked his chakra. It was perfect for infiltration, and with his already good stealth skills it was almost impossible to find him. One project Naruto put a lot of thought into was with storage seals. It was a seal that created a different dimension where you could store almost anything, so he thought if he could create a permanent dimension. He really wanted to have his own personal dimension, but the most he could do was make a seal that if placed in 4 corners he could expand the existing space. He needed a lot more information on space-time Fuinjutsu. What he had was limited. Naruto learned a lot of the jutsus from scrolls he got. After finishing his barrier he set it around his cave, and with it he could practice his more destructive jutsu. For most of his wind jutsu he didn't need hand seals. First Naruto would master jutsu with hand seals, and after it he would try to feel how chakra is being molded and try to do it without hand seals. With all the meditation and chakra control exercises he did, it didn't take long to do jutsu without hand seals. But the more destructive jutsu he only could shorten the number of seals he needed to make. For water jutsu, Naruto could only shorten some of jutsu to just the required number of hand seals. And these are only for sea and lower jutsus. But he was still working on water manipulation. He had neglected it at first, but now he's determined to have control over it as good as Night-Aim Hokage. He didn't want to limit himself to only using his water jutsu near a water source. It would limit him much. His relationship with Kyubi was a lot friendlier, if a little strange. It started after one particular incident almost 6 months ago. Flashback. Naruto was sitting on his bed and was about to go into his mind space to ask Kyubi some questions. It wasn't until tomorrow that he had to meet it, but he had found something very interesting today. At the library he had found an old book about clans, and after reading it he found out that there was a clan of Uzumaki, but he couldn't find any more information about it. So he decided to see if Kyubi could help him. Now Naruto was in a familiar clearing in his mind, but the strange thing was he couldn't see the fox. How did a fox the size of the Hokage mountain disappear? He didn't know. Kyubi-sensei. Where are you? He was a little concerned. Kyubi just couldn't up and disappear. But he heard something from the nearby pound, and then he looked. He certainly wasn't expected what he saw. From the pound just surfaced the most beautiful girl he had ever seen. She had waist-long scarlet red hair glittering from the water. On her head a pair of red with white-tipped fox ears. Perfectly tan skin that looked like it was glowing in the moonlight. Beautiful sea cup with pink. With water running down her body in the moonlight, Naruto couldn't help but look at this beautiful creature. He may be 9 years old, but he was a lot more mature and started to notice females' beauty a lot more. Naruto could only think of one thing he could say. Wow, so beautiful. Kyubi looked the direction of the voice to see Naruto with the look of amazement and awe. She smirked. She was planning on showing him her human form, but this was even better. She exited the pound and started walking slowly towards Naruto, with her hips swaying and her 9 tails swishing along behind her in rhythm with her seductive walk. Naruto just looked at her like she was the most beautiful creature in the world. His eyes never leaving hers, piercing red slitted eyes, as she came closer to him. The fox goddess placed her slender arm on Naruto's shoulder and leaned closer to him, her lips just inches from his ear as she whispered to him with her melodious voice. Do you really think I'm beautiful, Naruto-kun? She whispered sweetly into his ear. Naruto, still in daze as he had never experienced anything close to this, said the first thing that popped into his head. Why yes. Naruto managed to say. Why thank you, Naruto-kun. Kyubi kissed his cheek. Naruto managed to do one thing that should be impossible. He passed out in his own mind. Oh, maybe I went too far. She giggled a little and willed for a kimono to appear on her. It was dark red with black foxtail-like patterns. She sat down to wait for Naruto to wake up, and placed his head in her lap. Naruto groaned as he woke up. How are you feeling, Naruto? He heard a voice, and stiffened a little. Naruto opened his eyes to see a heart-shaped face, with red slitted eyes. Memories of what happened came back to him, and he blushed furiously. I am fine. He stood up and sat in front of her. Glad to know, I was a little worried. The smile never leaving her face. Yeah, thanks. Why didn't you tell me you are a girl? I thought you were a guy. Well, your voice was deep and you didn't give any indication otherwise. Also, you didn't tell me you could turn into human. Naruto sent her a small accusing glare. Well, you didn't ask for one, and I didn't think it was that important. And do you really think that my true form was that of giant fox? Where would I sleep? I need sleep too. This is my true form, and that giant fox is a manifestation of my full power, said the foxy lady like it was obvious. Oh, okay. Just don't do that. He really did think that she was a giant fox. Why, you don't like this form? Kyubi pouted cutely. Well, it's not that I don't like it, it's just don't be naked. I'm still too young. He blushed remembering how she looked. So it's okay then when you're older? She couldn't help herself. Naruto just sputtered something while blushing. Kyubi started laughing at Naruto. It had been so long since she laughed. Hey, it's not funny. Yes it is, I hadn't had this much fun in a long time. She was still laughing. Naruto pouted, he still had a small blush on his face. That was fun. So what did you need? Our lesson is tomorrow. Kyubi still had a small smile on her face. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. I found this old book about shinobi clans, and then I looked through it. I found that there was an Uzumaki clan in Yuzushiogakure, but in the book it only said that they were very good with seals and most of them were seal masters. I looked for more information but couldn't find anything. Do you know anything about them, and am I from this clan too? He was eager to know if he still has a family. Kyubi looked at Naruto. She could tell what he wanted, and it wasn't hard. Even if Naruto was really mature for his age, he still was just a kid that most of his life was alone, and now he found that he could possibly have a clan. She really didn't want to ruin his hope. She came to like Naruto. He was her friend and she didn't like seeing him depressed. She knew that she'll have to tell him about his parents sooner or later. How couldn't she now? She was sealed into his mother. With a sigh she prepared herself to tell him. I know of them, but I'll tell you about them later. Now I have to tell you something I wanted to tell you before you left the village, but I guess it's as good time as it can be, said a serious Kyubi and motioned for Naruto to sit next to her. It's about your parents. I didn't tell you at first who they were because I wanted for you to mature more emotionally to hear this. Your father is Minato Namikaze, or as most knows him, the Yondaime Hokage. You really look a lot like him. Your mother is Kushina Uzumaki, she was from Uzushio and she was the clan heir. So that makes you heir of the Uzumaki clan. I know that because she was my second Jinchuriki. I know that when she was pregnant with you she was really happy, she even talked a little with me. Then there is my first host, she was the wife of the Shodaime Hokage Mito Uzumaki. I and my previous hosts weren't on good terms like us. The night you were born I remember very little. I know that about your birth I knew just a few people. And the locations even less. I remember then I was forcefully pulled out of your mother, and the first thing I saw was the Mangekyo Sharingan, then I woke up in sewer. She looked at Naruto waiting for his reaction. Naruto didn't know what to think. He always wanted to know who his parents were. Did they love him, or have they abandoned him? He was happy that they loved him, he also was sad that they were dead. It was a shock that his mother was a Jinchuriki too. Naruto really wanted to meet her. As for his father he had mixed feelings. He somewhat understood his actions, he was the Hokage and wanted to protect his village, but still, to condemn his son just so the villagers would feel better while torturing him. That just wasn't right. Naruto sat with a pained expression and unshed tears in his eyes. Kyubi decided to comfort her container even if it was just a simple hug. She come closer to him and enveloped Naruto into her warm embrace. It's alright, you're not alone, even if it's just us we'll always be together, you're still young and you'll have your own family. It was a little strange coming from her mouth. Naruto started crying for the first time in years. It was some time since Naruto stopped crying and just sat in Kyubi's embrace. See, can we stay like this a little more? He didn't want to let go just yet. It was a nice feeling. Kyubi would have teased him but let it slide, she would have plenty of time. Without answering she just pressed Naruto closer to her. Flashback end. Since then, they're a lot closer, even if Kyubi liked to tease him. Naruto also came to his mind space a lot more, not only for lessons but just to talk. He also created her house. It was in the Japanese style, and in the back there was a pound with a hot spring there so she could relax. That earned him a kiss on the cheek. He didn't pass out, but he still managed to invent a new shade of red. Now Naruto was going to the Hokage Tower because it could be the only opportunity to look to where his parents' house may be, or if they left anything else. He also decided to look up on where the Senju compound was, and to see if he could get in. He wanted to find some notes about Funjutsu from Mito, it could help him greatly. Then he found out about his parents. He thought if he should stay and protect Konoha like his parents did or not. But he decided against it. It's his life and he will live his life for himself and those precious to him. If they really loved him then they would understand. Naruto was near the Hokage Tower, and he couldn't see or sense any shinobi. He quickly made his way inside. He couldn't believe that it was this easy to get inside. Any other night there would be some Anbu, couple of jonin and occasionally the Hokage himself stayed the night. Now it's empty, it couldn't get any better. 10 minutes later Naruto stood inside Hokage's office looking where he should start his search. The most obvious place would be at his desk, in some hidden compartment, but it couldn't be this easy. 5 minutes later Naruto couldn't believe what he found. He found a hidden compartment, but it was full of porn. If he didn't have to stay hidden he would have burned those damn books. Sighing he resumed his search. This time he activated his sealed detection seal, thinking it would be faster because he didn't have all night. 10 minutes later he stood with documents that proved his heritage, family's property and 2 other scrolls. He made a copy of them all and placed the fake ones back in the original's place. He didn't find anything about the Senju compound but he wasn't expecting to find any. He decided to make his way to his hideout. It wouldn't take long until the Hokage came back. Almost an hour later he was finally sitting in his cave. He would have been here faster but there was a lot of shinobi and civilians looking for him. Most of the shinobi were chunin and genin, he only spotted a couple of jonin. He had to be extra careful, he didn't want to be found out now of all times. Reading a scroll for his family home he was a little surprised to find that the house was at the edge of the village, and it wasn't as big as he imagined. Reading the other scroll and his love for his father just vanished. His father and Hyuga Hayashi had made an agreement that promised Naruto to marry Hyuga Hinata and he was marrying into the Hyuga house. He could understand what he did with Kyubi, but this is just too much. His father just sold him out before he was even born. He knew a little bit of politics, and that this kind of an agreement needed both his parents' agreement, but it had only his father's signature. So his mother didn't agree or she didn't even know. The last scroll was an agreement between the Hokage and someone named Danzo Shimura. It stated that should he show any signs of being a danger to Konoha Naruto would be given to Danzo for training to be a loyal Konoha shinobi. He wondered if Sarutobi knew about the seals that were placed on him. Now he was glad that he was posing as an idiot shouting that he would become Hokage. Naruto sat there thinking what to do next. First he needed to visit his family's home and look for something useful. He would need to gather information on the council and this Danzo guy too. Hell, he needed to know what he was up against, and what was going on. Tomorrow he'll have to step up his training in his flying technique. The faster he left the village the safer he would be. 6 months later. Forest of Death. It had been 6 months since Naruto sneaked into Hokage Tower. His training to be able to fly was almost complete. After 6 months of almost 700 clones doing training 3 days a week, he made some great progress. Now he could easily fly, but he was way too slow for this technique to be useful. His visit to his family house was more useful than he thought it would be. He found his father's famous jutsus. He didn't like his father, but he had to admit that his jutsu were powerful. The notes on Hiraishin were useful, but he was looking for something else. It may be a powerful jutsu, but it was a little impractical for him. Naruto also wasn't going to be the second Yellow Flash. He didn't like to be compared to his father, and it's bad enough that he looked like him. He also found a picture of his mother. She was very beautiful, especially her bright red hair. Naruto started to think that he may have a thing for redheads. He found his mother's notes about Fuinjutsu and her journal. She didn't have any scrolls from Yuzu, but the seals she had created were amazing. He even found out that it was his mother that taught his dad more advanced seals that helped him create Hiraishin. It was kind of funny. Everyone praised him as genius seal master, but his mother was better, and she learned everything herself, only helped a little by Mito until she died. Naruto was in the Forest of Death because it was a great place to train. He started coming here last month. He found this perfect place to train himself a little. This place was full of deadly animals, and they are a lot more dangerous than regular ones. Everything that was here was way bigger than normal. It was the perfect place to train in life and death situations. Now Naruto was up against 4 huge 7-foot-tall spiders. They were really quick and had amazing reflexes, so it was perfect to practice his personal taijutsu style. His taijutsu style was revolved on his wind and water manipulation. He had created offensive and defensive katas for both elements. He already had perfected all his katas, now he needed experience fighting with his style. If he didn't have experience with his style, it would be easy to be defeated by any seasoned jonin. Against Chunin he could surprise them and defeat them. While Naruto was concentrated on his battle against the spiders, he failed to notice that someone was observing him. It was a boring day for Anko Mitarashi. She had a free week from TI division, so she couldn't torture some poor soul. Her best friend, Kurenai, was on a mission and couldn't hang out with her. So she decided to do the next best thing. Buy some dango and go play in the Forest of Death. After she got there, she started running to her special place. She had found it on accident, but it was the most beautiful place she had seen. As she was running from tree to tree, she heard sounds of someone fighting. It was rare that someone would come here. Even Anbu didn't come here very often, so it made her curious as to who it could be. When she got there, she was certainly not expecting what she saw. In the clearing was a boy in an all-black outfit, with blonde hair, cerulean eyes and whisker marks on his cheeks. If it weren't for his hair and whiskers, she wouldn't have recognized him. It was Naruto Uzumaki, the resident Kyuubi Jinchuriki, an idiot wearing bright orange jumpsuit that always shouted about becoming Hokage. She didn't view him as the Kyuubi, that would be just stupid, and she could understand his actions. She had a mask too that protected her from others. But this was the complete opposite of what she knew about him. From what she could see, he was fighting only with taijutsu against spiders that are almost twice his size. She hadn't seen taijutsu like his before, but she could see that he was good at it. What confused her was that when he attacked, even if he missed, the spider would still get sliced. Sometimes the spider's attacks would just change direction on its own. His speed was easily at high jonin. She thought he was an idiot, but this put some of the jonin to shame. She looked as Naruto jumped into the air. If she didn't know better, she would have sworn she'd just seen him hovering in the air. Then Naruto shouted, "Heavenly swirling tides." He shouted as he started spinning in the air. The water started to coalesce with the wind that appeared around him, becoming mini tornado. He dropped on a spider that was in front of him, and on impact all the water around him shot forward and became a rotating tidal wave that sped to the spiders that couldn't move from the path, and they were hit full force. When she could see again, she was shocked. The spider that received the kick from the air was only a puddle of blood, and the other spiders that were hit with the tide, there was only bits and pieces left. It still takes up too much of my chakra, and I'll have to see if I can make it faster. Naruto panted from using so much chakra even for him. Anko just stared at Naruto in shock. This kid, just 10 years old, and he's already jonin level. If he really created that technique and it still isn't finished, then what else is he capable of? Seeing that he wasn't even a genin doing such a powerful jutsu really shocked her. In her shock, she shifted, making the branch she was on creak, alerting Naruto of her presence and position. Before she could do anything, it was over. When Naruto heard a creak, he quickly spun around and saw it was a kunoichi. Acting as fast as he could, he performed his favorite technique. It gives him an extreme burst of speed. It was a byproduct of his flying technique. He just needed to gather wind chakra into his legs and under his foot, compress it, and release it in a burst. It made him really fast. He appeared behind Anko and quickly placed a tag that would make her unable from using chakra and paralyze her. He made a clone to make a barrier around the clearing that wouldn't let anyone inside. He didn't want anyone finding him again. Anko was a little disorientated. 1 second she was on a branch, and the next she's lying on the ground. She tried to get up but couldn't. That wasn't good. She tried using chakra, but it didn't work either. What the fuck? Why can't I move? She didn't like the idea of being powerless to defend. It's futile. I sealed your chakra and paralyzed you. Now who are you and what are you doing here? Did someone send you to spy on me? Oh, almost forgot. Naruto took 2 more tags from his storage seal on his arm and placed one on Anko's forehead and other kept in his hand. This will let me know if you are lying or not, so I recommend telling the truth. Now answers my questions. He wasn't happy with this situation. But it was his fault too. He should have put some seals around the clearing so that no one could detect him. Anko was mad. This kid just defeated her, and she didn't put up a fight. Now he had her at his mercy, and was demanding answers from her. Who does he think he is? You damn brat, let me go or I'll put you through so much pain that you'll regret being born. She wasn't going to let this kid order her. I don't think you understand the situation you're in. I may be 10 years old, but you're at my mercy and I could just kill you. As you can see, I'm not the idiot that everyone thinks I am, and if I don't like the answers I could make you disappear. Now answers my questions. Naruto pressed a kunai to her cheek to make a point and made a little cut. Anko's eyes widened. This brat is serious. I can't believe I got myself into this. That's just her luck. Fine, I'm Anko Mitarashi, Special Jonin and Interrogator in TI Division. And I come to this forest a lot. I was running through the forest when I heard you fighting and decided to look. She couldn't believe that this kid got the drop on her. Naruto's eyes widened slightly. He couldn't believe what he caught. So this is Anko, Konoha's snake mistress. She's the second most hated person in Konoha after me. But it still doesn't change the fact that she saw me. I can't have her going around and telling people about me. Maybe I could get her on my side. She is hated just like I am and I don't think we're that different. I heard that she has some seal from Orochimaru. I wonder if I could remove it. He needed to think what to do with her. He couldn't just kill her. He may be a shinobi, but he wasn't that heartless. He decided to try and talk her into siding with him. So you're Anko, the second bane of Konoha. Because of Orochimaru you are now shunned almost just like me. I don't think you like being treated like that just because he was your jonin teacher. Do you really like this village? Don't you want to just leave this village and find a place where you could call a home? He sat in front of her. So you know off me. I know you too, but to think that you are hiding this much. Who could have thought? Everyone thinks you're an idiot who failed to graduate from the academy 2 times. But here you are sitting in front of me after capturing me and I couldn't even put up a fight. From your actions I don't think anyone even knows what you're up to, not even the Hokage. It's obvious it's you who don't like the village. I'm quite happy here. She shot back at him. Anko. Naruto looked at seal tag as it lit up in red and he smiled. Yeah, I don't like this village. It's full of corruption and lies. If you knew what this village has done, and are still doing, you would say something entirely different. But you already don't like this village. You're just lying to yourself. Have you forgotten about this seal? It turns red if you lie. You don't like it here either, but you don't know where to go. Orochimaru marked you with his Jun Jutsu and because of it you don't have many options left. That's something similar to me. Because of the hack no Fuin Shiki seal that houses Kyuubi I became just a tool for this village. Oh, don't look so surprised. I've known about the Kyuubi for quite a while. He could see it in her eyes that he was right. Anko sat there listening to Naruto. She didn't want to admit that he was right, but she always knew she wouldn't be accepted no matter how much she tried. So what do you expect me to do? Just run away from everything? I'm not a coward and I'm not going to run. Who said you're a coward? Don't you want to be happy, have a family and a future? Could you get it here? How long do you think they're going to let you live? The moment your usefulness ends, so does your life. He produced another seal tag and activated. The instant the seal activated, Naruto saw that on Anko appeared 2 seals, one on her shoulder and another on her chest, directly above her heart. Naruto came closer and examined the seal on her chest. Anko didn't know what he was doing, but she didn't like it. Especially that he looked at her chest so intently. She may dress like that, but she really didn't like the thought of being some toy. After a minute Naruto still didn't move or look anywhere else. She looked down wanting to know what he was looking at that much. When she looked down she saw that on her chest was a seal that glowed faintly. She didn't know about it. She had a little knowledge about seals but nothing beyond making a storage seal. She didn't understand what purpose the seal could be, but one seal she already had and she didn't want any more on her, especially one she didn't know about. What is this? She shouted, not liking there was another seal and where it was located. So you didn't know about it? Not surprising, I had one just like that. This seal could remotely kill you by one who has the detonation seal. Do you see now, the moment you do something that someone in Konoha does not like and you're dead. I can remove this seal easily. I have already removed this one from myself, and if you let me I could look at the one Orochimaru gave you. I may not look like it but I'm pretty good with seals. Naruto sat back waiting for Anko to make decision. As for Anko, she was in a little shock. She couldn't believe she had this kind of seal. Who could have put it on her, and did the Hokage know of it? Maybe he did. He's Tei Hokage and he has to protect his village. Naruto had one too, a Jinchuriki. The Hokage must have known about his seal if not ordered it to be placed by him. She sighed, she didn't know what to do anymore. Please remove it, said Anko sadly, her mask broken, shoving how much sadness and loneliness she was feeling. Okay. You know, you could come with me. I'm planning on escaping this village. You could come with me. I could use some help too. Naruto took a brush and a bottle of ink from his pouch. I'm going to let you free now. And to remove the death seal I need you to remove your trench coat and a mesh shirt. I'll need to draw seals around the one I'm destroying. Naruto blushed as he removed paralysis and truth seals. Is little Naruto-kun embarrassed? Just a minute ago he had her captured, and now he was blushing. She couldn't resist and tease him. It was unfortunately for her that Naruto was quite used to being teased by Kyuubi and started teasing back. Of course, a woman of such beauty sitting before me half naked, it wouldn't take long for me to fall for you. Thought I wouldn't mind that, he behind. The last part Naruto whispered into her ear. Anko wasn't prepared for a 10-year-old kid to tease her back and she blushed. An hour later Naruto and Anko was sitting in the same clearing still talking. Naruto having finished removing the death seal that was on Anko's chest and had examined her cursed seal. Naruto could admit that the only seal more complicated was on his stomach. The Juin Jutsu was really a work of genius. He needed for Anko to activate it to see the whole array. There were 3 parts of the seal. First one contained some sort of substance that activated it would spread and make the user stronger, faster, and granted a chakra boost. The array would regulate it so it wouldn't kill the user. He thought it was because of this substance that people died then the seal was placed. He could see that the moment this seal is placed it would release some of this substance into the body. The only reason he could think was because the user needed to adapt to it so that it could work. The second part was very intricate addiction/suggestion seal. When activated it would slowly make the user dependable on the seal. The last part made Naruto sick. It had a fragment of Orochimaru's soul and chakra. It would slowly corrupt the user's chakra, making it more similar to Orochimaru himself. He couldn't think of a reason for this. It also was the core of the seal that linked everything. It also linked to the user's chakra. If you messed up even a little when removing the seal, it would kill the user. Anko was lucky it was an incomplete seal and wasn't very strong. Naruto thought that he could remove it. He just needed to think how. So have you decided if you want to leave with me or stay here? Asked Naruto. It was almost dark and he wanted to go home to sleep. Okay, I'm in. It's not like I have anything better here. But how are you planning on leaving? The moment they noticed that you left they're going to send Umbu and tracking squads, maybe even Hunter Nin. If she was going to run then she needed to know if it was possible. She didn't want to be brought back the next day or killed the moment they found her. With this, he said, and started to fly in the air. Anko looked shocked. She knew that the Tsuchikage could fly but to see someone do it was shocking. Especially a 10-year-old boy. You can fly. Yeah, it took a long time for me to learn just this much. I needed to make hundreds of Kage Bunshin to practice for years. It's insanely difficult. I have to increase my affinity for wind as much as I could, to be able to do this, and it's still not complete, I'm too slow. I need a couple of months to complete it. He was proud of this. How many could say that they can fly? Anko stared at Naruto in shock. She couldn't believe what he can do. She knew he was good from what she saw, easily he was Jonin level, and with more experience, he could defeat most of the Konoha Jonins. But if he can even create something that would let him fly, he had to be genius. If he got more experience and trained, then in 4 or 5 years he could go up against any Kage and win. Wait, but how am I going to escape? I can't fly. As much as she wanted to be able to fly, I can make a seal that would summon you to my location. You just need to make sure that no one saw you before I summon you. He would need to think of a way to make Konoha chaotic so they could just disappear. That could work. But where would we be going? I don't want to just be running around. With the seal like mine it would be hard to leave. I have a place in mind but you'll have to wait a little to know where. I'm going home now. It has been a long day. When I have come up with a seal that would remove your curse seal I'll contact you. It's better if no one saw us together. We don't need someone asking questions. He stood up and started going in the direction of the village but stopped as he remembered something. Hey, do you know where the Senju compound is? He hadn't looked for it but now it would be good time to visit it. Yeah, it's at the west side of the village. It's that big compound, you can't miss it. Why do you need it? She wondered why he would need it. It was sealed because there is currently no Senju in the village. Oh, just something I need to see. Goodbye, Anko. He started running. Yeah, see you too, brat. She said with a small smile. It has been a month since Naruto met Anko. And it was really busy month for Naruto. He managed to get into Senju compound easily. The blood seal that protected compound let him in. He thought that was because of his mother. Or he could be related to Senju too. He wasn't too concerned about it. He found library relatively easy. It was located in the basement. He found jutsu scrolls of both thirst and second Hokage. But he didn't took any. He already had a lot of jutsu, and if he needed any more he would create it himself. Most of jutsu are known so experienced shinobi knew how to counter them or evade. The ones he created would be unknown and countering them would be very hard, but he still took couple of scrolls on advanced water manipulation. The reason he was there was because of Mito Uzumaki notes on Fuinjutsu. He knew if he had them he could become the best seal master in elemental nations. If she could seal Kyuubi into herself he could only imagine what kind of seals she knew. He found her notes, but it took him all day to access them. The seal that protected them was incredibly hard to open. You needed Uzumaki blood and you also had to have larger than Kage chakra reserves. Then you placed blood on the seal. You needed to pour your chakra into the seal and guide it in specific patterns so that it would open the seal. It was really hard but it was worth all the work. He found all her notes, and even jutsu that they're solely for Uzumaki. He also found a letter from her. It was a little creepy that it was addressed to anyone that opened that seal. It said that only Uzumaki could understand its workings and open it. In the letter she explained why she joined Konoha, about Kyuubi, and its sealing into his mother. It also explained why Yuzushiogakure was destroyed. Mito joined Konoha because of political marriage. As Uzumaki their Senju distant cousins, it was decided that they should become allies and make both villages stronger. She was chosen because she was daughter of Uzukage. The letter said that Hashirama was really honorable man, and she respected him. Because of it she decided to help him fight Uchiha Madara. Then she heard about the fight. Then she got there and saw Kyuubi fighting first Hokage. She could only think one thing to do to help. She sealed it into herself. After it she was brought back to village by clone of Hokage as the sealing took a lot out of her. After the death of Hashirama she couldn't go home as it was against contract they made, so she needed to stay in Konoha. Then it was time to seal Kyuubi in another host. It was selected that it would be Kushina, the heir of Uzumaki clan. After the sealing she managed to live but she didn't have much time. Then she found out about destruction of Yuzu and that Konoha didn't even send any help. She left right after it. On her way to Yuzu she found Konoha Umbu with scrolls with some sealing techniques. Then she interrogated him. She found out that his job was to let the invading forces into Yuzu. She didn't manage to find who ordered it. She then come back to Konoha and sealed everything she owned and left it so only Uzumaki could open it. After it she left to Yuzu again. Naruto couldn't believe that something like that happened. To know that it was Konoha that caused the destruction of your clan was hard for him. He decided that he would rebuild Yuzu and make it the most powerful village. He may not have known his village or any other Uzumaki, but he won't let for them to be forgotten like that. Naruto wanted to study his new scrolls but could do that because of his own mistake. He wanted to concentrate on seals he got from Mito himself and not use clones for it, but it didn't go as planned. He couldn't even do his psychical training. He noticed that Umbu started to monitor him a couple of days after he found out about Yuzu. It's either Hokage or Danzo. He couldn't confirm which Umbu it was or he could expose himself. Naruto thought the reason for Umbu was because he put Uchiha Sasuke to hospital. But he didn't regret it. It happened then Sasuke found him at the academy grounds in the morning. Naruto was throwing some shuriken and kunai in academy training ground at training dummies, and almost always missed. He needed to keep up appearance. And what better way than let everyone see you couldn't throw even a shuriken. Then Sasuke saw that, and like always started trying to pick a fight. He started to insult Naruto like always, saying he was dead last and should have quit the first time he failed exam. It was the usual. His whole class was full of idiots, and half of them their clan heirs. They say he's looser but they won't even train. Sasuke was the worst of all. After the massacre he started to pick a fight with anyone he didn't like. Naruto was the only one that would fight with him only during spars. He would have ignored him like always but then he started insulting his family. Naruto couldn't take it anymore and snapped. It also didn't help that just the day before he found about Konoha's help in destruction of his clan. Sasuke didn't have time to react. One moment he was insulting Naruto and the next he was on the ground with his whole body hurting. Naruto had broken his left arm, fractured some ribs before he stopped from doing any more damage. After that day Naruto started to feel that he was being watched. Now Naruto was making his way to Forest of Death. He didn't have any Umbu today so it was the best opportunity to meet up with Anko. He had sent her a message to meet him in the same place as the first time. 20 minutes later Naruto landed in the clearing and saw that Anko was already there, leaning against a tree. He made a clone to place a barrier. "Hello Anko. How have you been?" Naruto said politely. "Hey there brat." His eyebrows started twitching at that. "Don't call me that." "Forget it. I called you here because I wanted to know if you knew anything about why Umbu they're monitoring me? And also I want you to step up your training. We're going to escape on October 10th, on my birthday. Until then I want you to train yourself so that if we encounter someone you could easily defend yourself. I also know that we are going to be staying at." He may be 10 but he didn't like being called brat. You got Umbu monitoring you?" "I didn't know of this. And I'm friends with Umbu that looked after you then you they're little. If she knew anything she would have told me. If we're escaping in 5 months I don't think I can become stronger in that short amount of time." "And how did you become this strong in such a short amount of time? You're still too young for your muscles to be that strong." She was curious how he became this strong. "So it must be Danzo that sent his root Umbu after me. I know that he tried to get me into his little army. I'll have to be carefully until my escape. Wouldn't want to ruin everything." He wasn't going to ruin his escape. "I'm this strong because I'm Uzumaki and I have enchanted healing, stamina and chakra bigger than Kage's. It's also more dense and potent. And because of Kyuubi sealed in me, it had boosted most of these things. My muscles heal the next day so I can train until exhaustion, and do it again the next day, making me stronger. I also can make over 1,000 clones. With them I train my chakra control and elemental manipulation. I don't think anyone could train like I." He liked the look of shock on her face. Anko couldn't believe what she heard. The training like that would have killed anyone else a long time. "Wait, you said because you're Uzumaki? What do you mean by that?" She didn't know that there was Uzumaki clan. Figures you wouldn't know. Uzumaki was a clan that created Yuzushiogakure. They were distant relatives of Senju. The wife of first Hokage was Mito Uzumaki. She also was the first Jinchuriki of Kyubi. My clan was incredibly good with seals, most of them their seal masters. It was really powerful clan, and because of this IWA, Kumo and Kiri launched an attack on Yuzu. It happened just couple of days after my mother, Kushina Uzumaki, come to Konoha to become a second Jinchuriki of Kyubi. Naruto was interrupted by Anko. What? Your mother was Kushina Uzumaki? The Red Death of Konoha? And she also was Kyubi host? What the hell? How come no one knew of this? She was shocked that wife of Shodai Hokage was the host of Kyubi, but to think that his mother was Kushina and she was a host too was really shocking. Then she was little, she heard stories of her, and really wanted to be that strong and feared. Oh, they knew, but just Hokage and advisors. I also found out that it was Konoha that helped in destruction of my clan. You see, Yuzu is surrounded by whirlpools and it's hard to get to the island. And they had seals that made it even harder to cross. The whole island was also surrounded by barrier. It made almost impossible to get inside. It was because Konoha sabotaged seals that the army could get inside. I don't know who ordered it, but I have a guess. You know that swirl on shinobi jackets? That's Uzumaki's symbol. Konoha destroyed my clan and still have a nerve of wearing it. You see what Konoha is capable of? They better destroy its allies than help them. It still angered him that just because his clan was powerful it didn't give the right to destroy them. Anko just sat there listening to Naruto. She was shocked that Konoha would do something like that. What more Konoha was hiding? Are you going to get revenge? She could understand. She also wants to kill Orochimaru for what he did. Don't know. It wouldn't bring them back. But I certainly won't be helping Konoha. He sat next to Anko. We'll be going to ruins of Uzushiogakure. It may not have anything now, but I plan on rebuilding it. I'm going to make an Uzumaki famous again. The reason I want you to train because after a month in Yuzu we'll be going to Kiri. I may not like it, but we need allies, and Kiri is our best option. I heard that now there is civil war between Mizukage and Bloodline users. We'll be helping Bloodline faction. That way we could make a powerful ally, and it would give me the needed experience. After war we will make an alliance with them. You sound pretty confident that rebels would win. Don't you think it's a little early to make such plans? It's not that I don't think it's a bad plan, but a lot of things depend on luck. Maybe rebels won't even let us help them. Anko knew Naruto was strong, but being overconfident would lead even the strongest to death. And she didn't like the idea of him dying. They only met once before, and she even agreed to betray her village with him. It would look like it was way too fast, but for her it was enough. She felt strangely at peace with him. It was a feeling she hadn't felt in a long time. She wouldn't admit it to anyone, but she liked that feeling. She thought it was because he was just like her and understood what it meant to be hated just because of someone else's actions. She was brought back from her thoughts by Naruto. It's risky, but it would be worth. I have sent about a dozen of Kage Bunshin to Kiri. With the help of a seal I created, they could live for a month. I send them to make a contact with rebels. This way we won't risk ourselves, and I will gather more info so that we wouldn't be going blindly. As of now I know that rebels are losing, but they still put a very good fight. We have enough time to get a little stronger. One thing he didn't like was memory backlash. It was only weeks worth memories and it almost knocked him out cold. Oh, that's good then. But what about training? I don't think I can improve much in such a short amount of time. Anko was slightly jealous of Naruto being able to improve so much in short amount of time. I thought about it and made a seal that I could place on you, and you will be able to teleport to my location or my secret training ground. It is a seal I told you about that I was going to be using to get you out of Konoha. I improved it a little. Now you can teleport yourself, and you don't need to worry about what to learn. I have a copy of Hokage library and scrolls from my family home. Naruto was going to tell her about other seal he made for her. He had a lot of free time this month, so he come up with some interesting seals. Wait, there in hell did you get a copy of Hokage library? For family scrolls I can understand, but Hokage library? It's one of the most secure places in the village. She couldn't believe he had scrolls from Hokage. There are a lot of forbidden jutsu. I had it for 3 years. It was kind of easy to get. Do you remember that incident then village gate and nose of Yondaime got blown? Naruto still smiled at the memory of Yondaime without nose. Of course I remember. It was the most fun month I had. Hokage wanted all spies from the village to be gone. So he made a team that would look for them. You wouldn't believe how many we found. And the look of Yondaime's face without his nose was hilarious. But what does it have to do with you getting copy of Hokage library? Everything. I was the one that put these explosive notes. I tricked Hokage letting me into his library, and then I was inside I detonated them. Hokage left me inside because he didn't want to risk me. He was proud of his work, even if he wasn't the one who come up with it. It was you? You there what, 7? And you managed to fool Hokage. You're very good at acting, or Hokage is going senile if 7-year-old brat could trick him. Now I understand why the nose of Yondaime was blown off. At that time no one could come up why Yondaime was targeted. Most thought it was IWA, but no one knew for sure. It was his way of getting back at Yondaime for sealing Kyubi. It was easy. Everyone in this village just sees what they want. I just act like they expect me and no one questions. They won't even recognize who my father is. I looked just like him except smaller, and with whiskers. It was funny to think that they couldn't see similarities. Anko looked at Naruto and tried to picture him older, and without whiskers. The image that popped almost made her start hitting her head into the tree. He looked just like Yondaime. She couldn't believe she didn't recognize the resemblance earlier. The whole village must be blind for not seeing this. I can't believe I didn't see this earlier. You look just like him. You're not the only one. The whole village don't see it. Or they just think that demon is mocking them. He wouldn't be surprised by that. So then are you going to put that seal? If you have Hokage library and Yondaime scrolls, I can learn some powerful jutsu. And did you manage to come up with a seal that would remove my cursed seal? It was her dream to finally get rid of that damn thing. I was planning on putting the seal that will let you teleport now. As for cursed seal, I'm almost finished. I need about 1 more month to come up with how to remove the part of seal that contains part of Orochimaru's soul. It has a failsafe seal that if attempted to remove it would kill the user. That part of the seal was really complex. It looked similar to Uzumaki's style of sealing. He wouldn't be surprised if he got his hands on some of Uzumaki's seals. I hope you would hurry. I can't stand this thing on me. She really wanted to get rid of it. The thought of having even part of that bastard on her made her sick. Come here, and show me the back of your neck. I'll put it there. I'll also put a seal that will let me teleport to you. I already have one on myself. You just need to send some chakra into the seal, and you will feel something like a pull. You need to decide which direction, and you will get there. The longer the distance, the more chakra is needed. Naruto prepared his sealing supplies and got to work. Half an hour later he was finished with the seal, and now it was time to test it. He knew it worked. He had already tested it, but not Anko. Alright, go to other side of clearing and try to teleport to me. Anko quickly got to other side and activated the seal. She felt a pull to the Hokage mountain, just a little further. She could feel a distance from her to the seal. The next pull was coming from Naruto, so she let that one to pull her. She disappeared in purple flash. Less than a second later Anko crashed into Naruto. Ow, why did I just crash into you? She looked at Naruto that was under her. She smirked. She wasn't going to let this chance pass. Anko pressed herself to Naruto. His face was right between her. How does it feel having me on top of you, Naruto-kun? She pressed a little harder. If you remove the seal, maybe I'll reward you. He was still so innocent, and easily embarrassed. She just couldn't pass this chance to tease him. Naruto was about to pass out, then he heard a voice. Naruto! Startled he jumped, making Anko fall off him. Hey, why did you jump so suddenly? I heard a voice. But he shouldn't have. The barrier still was up and no one could have entered. Naruto! It's me, Kyuubi. The seal is weak enough for me to send a small amount of my yoki to let us communicate now. But it's still hard. She was finally able to talk with him, then he's not in his mind. They become good friends, and after he saw her human form even closer, she enjoyed his company. Then he was inside the seal, especially after she told him about his parents. They become closer. Then she was alone in the seal. She missed Naruto. Now that seal was weak enough for them to talk, and then he was awake. She was really happy. Kyuubi! I'm so glad the seal finally weakened enough for us to talk. He was really happy about it. He missed her, then he couldn't see or talk to her, and over the last 6 months he started to see her more than just a friend. I didn't know you liked me like that, Naruto-kun. Don't worry, I like you too. Oh, you just need to think and I'll hear you. That was true. She knew she liked him, she just didn't know if their relationship would work. Her being in the seal and all, Naruto was red from head to toe. He couldn't believe she heard what he thought. But he was really happy that she liked him too. Anko looked at Naruto trying to figure out what was going on. 1 minute he almost passed out, the next he's hearing a voice. Now he's saying that it was Kyuubi, and it was good thing that the seal weakened. And now he's blushing like mad. That just doesn't make any sense. Naruto! She was trying to get his attention. Naruto looked at her. He almost forgot that he wasn't alone. Kyuubi, we'll talk when I get home. I need to explain some things to Anko. He wasn't afraid to that he was container of Kyuubi. He was proud of it. If it wasn't for it he wouldn't have met her. But he would be happier if she was with him, and not sealed. Kyuubi heard his thoughts, and was happy that he didn't hate her for being sealed in him. Okay, I'll see you in later. Just don't take too long. What do you mean it's good thing that seal weakened? You know what it did. How can it be good thing? Anko didn't like idea of Kyuubi tormenting Naruto. She's not it. Kyuubi is really nice and she's the one that told me about my parents. It wasn't even her fault that she attacked Konoha in the first place. The day my mother gave birth to me, Kyuubi was forced from her seal and the first thing she saw was Sharingan. She was forced to attack Konoha. If you want to blame someone, then blame that damned Uchiha. He didn't like that Kyuubi was treated like that. Kyuubi's a girl. And she's nice? Wow, I wasn't expecting that. Wait, if it was Uchiha that forced Kyuubi to attack, then who could it be? The only one I could think of is Madara, and he's long since dead. If there are another Uchiha who could control Kyuubi, we have huge problem. If this Uchiha have come to Kyuubi once, who will stop him from trying to control once more? The thought of someone powerful enough to force Kyuubi to do something really scared her. Naruto paled. How he could forget that Uchiha could come back for Kyuubi again. There is no way he could stand a chance against him as he's now. He could defeat some jonin but not experienced one yet. How could I forget about that? Change of plans. We're escaping next month. If we have enemies this strong we can't waste time. We need to get stronger and fast. We'll train for 6 months in Yuzu, then travel to Kuri to help rebellion and get experience. Then we'll see what to do next. He'll need to leave every clone he can to master his flight ability. Next month? I'll need to make sure I don't leave anything behind. I don't want my personal stuff to be taken by someone. She didn't have that many things, but it was still hers. I could place a blood seal on your hand there, you could seal all your things. It would be a lot safer than in the scroll. He also had a couple of these seals on himself. It contained all his scrolls. That would be great. It was pretty neat having a seal master as a friend. Okay, I can place it now, I just need some of your blood. I also want to spar a little. I don't have anyone else, so it would help me a lot. He really wanted to test himself against her. It will show him there he stands as he's now. Anko smirked. She also wanted to test this brat. The one time she saw him was against spiders, and it was impressive. Alright, I wanted to see what you can do too. 10 minutes later Naruto and Anko were facing each other. Naruto also left some clones to observe the spar to see any mistakes he made so he could correct later. Only taijutsu fight, right? Anko knew that he was better at jutsu than her. With training he said he did, it's no surprise. Naruto just nodded and took his stance. It looked like he was just standing, but he started coating wind chakra around his right arm and water around his left. He could change which hand had which element. It made defending against his attacks a lot harder. Naruto shot at Anko with great speed, intending on delivering a straight punch to her. As he was a couple of meters from Anko, he sends wind chakra to his legs, and with a burst of chakra from his feet he disappeared from sight. Less than a second later he appeared at her right, in the middle of a kick. Only experience led Anko to evade his attack by bending. She recovered quickly, and before Naruto could land on the ground she tried to deliver a jab to his stomach. Naruto, seeing this, used his water manipulation to make her arm pass by him, and grabbed it. Spinning in the air he tried to deliver another spinning kick, but Anko evaded again, and used the hand that Naruto grabbed. Twisting it a little she grabbed his hand. She pulled him to her, making him lose his balance, and delivered a punch to his gut. Naruto landed on his back. He quickly jumped from his spot, evading axe kick from Anko. Naruto coated both hands with wind chakra and punched air, making small air bullets shoot to Anko. She didn't have time to evade and was hit by them. She was knocked back a little, making her lose her balance. Naruto, seeing a chance, shot to her, intending to finish it. He would have succeeded if Anko hadn't recovered fast enough. She spun around and striking to his left arm at the pressure point, making it so Naruto couldn't use it for some time. She was about to deliver punch another, but Naruto disappeared again and reappeared behind her. But this time she didn't manage to evade a kick to her back, making her fly forward. Naruto appeared before Anko again and punched her with water enchanted arm. The forces of the punch sent her in the air, almost knocking her out. He used his ability to walk on air and appeared above her, waiting for perfect moment to strike. Just as he was about to deliver a powerful kick to finish his match, Anko twisted in the air and pointed her arms to Naruto. Hidden snake jutsu. From her sleeves shot dozen snakes and coiled around, surprised Naruto. Before he could do anything, Anko grabbed Naruto by his leg and swung him down. Naruto landed with a loud bang. Ugh! He didn't have time to get up as Anko landed on him and pressed kunai at his throat. I win. Anko was panting. But you could clearly hear her excitement in her voice. Hey, you cheated? You said no jutsu yourself? We're ninja. It's our job to cheat, to win by any means necessary. Do you think that enemy wouldn't take a chance to kill you if you showed an opening? You need to understand that being shinobi you have to take any advantage you can. I don't say you have to kill everyone you fight, but if it's you or him, I hope you won't hesitate to strike. She only hoped that he would take her advice. In their spar it was clear that Naruto was skilled, but he was inexperienced. There were several times he could have finished the fight but didn't take them. With his speed and his taijutsu he was deadly. I know, I guess I just never thought about it. This is my first real spar. I always fought with my clones. But with them I can have experience of fighting real shinobi. He was really happy that now he have Anko to spar with. With just this spar he saw how much experience means. Then we'll have to spar a lot more. We can't have you killed by your first opponent. She was still on top of Naruto as if she didn't notice it. But Naruto couldn't ignore it anymore. You mind getting off me? He may like Anko but not in that way. Why? Earlier you liked it, but this time you won't escape. Wouldn't you like for me to teach a few more things? She pressed a little closer to him. She liked teasing him. He looked so serious all the time, but then embarrassed he would blush beet red. It was just so fun. This time Naruto wasn't going to let her have all the fun. I didn't know you there like that, Anko-chan. Huh? What do you mean? She was a little confused. I didn't know you liked this kind of thing. Do I have to call you Anko-sensei, maybe Wani-chan? He said with serious face, but inside he was laughing at her face. Is Wani-chan going to teach me how to become a man? Please be gentle. His eyes wide, with tears in corner. He looked like cute little child. Anko forgot all about teasing and jumped off him, her face red. Why no, doesn't Oni-chan like me? Naruto pouted, trying his best not to laugh. No! I mean I like Naruto couldn't help it anymore and started laughing. Anko looked at him confused a little but then remembered what's going on. Her face reddened but this time from anger. You little brat. I'm going to kill you. She jumped at still laughing Naruto, intending to make him pay. Naruto saw this and started running from her still laughing. 2 hours later Anko was lying on the ground, panting from exhaustion. She didn't manage to catch Naruto. She almost had him several times, but he would disappear in a burst of speed or start flying. Is Oni-chan tired already? Don't you want to play some more? Still acting like a little kid, Naruto was flying around her. He wasn't even tired. Why you little, she managed to say. I'm going home. I can't be gone for all day. Umbu may come to check. I also need to make preparations for our escape. You can teleport to my training ground anytime. I'll be leaving my clones there to finish my flying technique and they will help you then I'm not there. I'll see you later, Anko. And he left. Yeah, but this isn't over. No way was she going to let him get away that easy. I really do need training if he can outrun me like that. It was peaceful night in Konoha. There wasn't even a cloud in the starry sky. Moon was illuminating everything with its soft glow. It was quiet night, disturbed only by patrolling shinobi. Lone figure was standing on Hokage Mountain, gazing at the village. It was Uzumaki Naruto, Jinchuriki of Kyubi no Yoko. He was looking at the village he was about to leave. It has been over a month since he changed his plan to leave earlier, and he was really busy all the time, learning seals from scrolls of Mito, making plans for the future and helping Anko with her training. But it was finally time to leave this village. He didn't manage to learn a lot from sealing scrolls he got, but he had finally figured out how to destroy curse seal placed on Anko. He'll be removing it then they are safe in Yuzu. He also started studying the seal that Kyubi was sealed with. He wanted to look for a way to free her from it. He still remembers the night they talked about their feelings. Flashback. Naruto had just returned home from his meeting with Anko and now was lying on his bed, preparing to go talk with Kyubi. He was a little scared. He didn't know what to say. He wasn't even sure what love really was like. This is the first time he felt like this, and it scared him. Does he really have a chance with Kyubi? Is it really going to work? He was brought back from his musings by a voice. Just get in here. Yes. He was starlit by Kyubi. He hoped she didn't listen to his thoughts. 10 minutes later he was in familiar clearing. He looked around and spotted Fox Lady sitting near the tree. He walked to her and stood there a little awkward, not knowing what to say. Hi. He said, wanting to just disappear right there and now. Kyubi looked at him. She knew why he was like that. He didn't know what to do. All his life he hadn't known love. He was alone and had to take care of himself. Now he's confronted with emotions he hadn't felt before, and it doesn't help the fact that he's just 10 years old. She wasn't doing any better herself. She may be hundreds of years old. This still is the first time anything even close to this happened. Then she was sealed the first time. She was really angry and wanted nothing more than to kill her host and be free. Second was even worse. Pinned to a rock with spikes certainly wasn't the most enjoying experience. Then she was ripped from her second host and put under genjutsu. Just to wake up in some sewer angered her a lot. But then Naruto come. Then she saw that it was just a child. She decided to give him a chance. It wasn't his fault that she was sealed. He was really different from her previous hosts. He didn't outright labeled her some kind of monster, bent on destruction. They become friends and now maybe a little more. She knew it would be difficult for them. She was sealed inside him. And it was the first time for both of them experiencing this kind of feelings. She didn't know what future may hold for them but she wanted to try and make this relationship work. She motioned for Naruto to sit beside her. He was a little hesitant but sat. She embraced him, holding him closer to her. I know this is going to be difficult but I want to try and make it work between us. I'm new at this too. You're not the only one. I haven't experienced anything like this before just like you. We'll have to take this slow. She was sealed inside 2 hosts already but she wasn't interested in their life so she didn't know that much about relationships. Naruto was glad that he wasn't the only one that felt like this. I know that you're the only one that I feel like this. You were my first friend. You helped me, even if you are sealed inside me. I'm really happy being with you, and I really want for us to become more than friends. Naruto embraced her closer, not wanting to let her go. He was content just having her in his arms. He felt at peace. He wasn't concerned about anything, just enjoying the presence of her. Kyubi was touched that he felt like this, happy to know that Naruto liked her like that. She decided to be a little bold. She knew that Naruto wouldn't do anything that he thought she wouldn't like, so she needed to make a first move. She leaned back a little and cupped his face with her hands, making him look at her. I like you, Naruto-kun. She leaned closer and kissed him on the lips. Naruto was surprised by her actions but after a moment all his thoughts there scattered, replaced by a feeling of her lips. Her lips felt soft and pleasant. He really liked the feel of them on his. It was just a small, gentle kiss, but they both enjoyed it. Kyubi didn't want to take this too far. He was still young, and their relationship just started. After a couple more seconds they broke apart. Naruto looked at her a little dazed. I like you too, Kyu-chan. he said her with all emotion he could muster. It was then that Kyubi remembered that she hadn't told Naruto her name. She had forgotten all about it, she hadn't used it in a long time. There is one more thing you need to know. My name isn't Kyubi, it's just a title that humans give me. I had forgotten about it as I hadn't used it in a long time. My name is Akemi. It was really a long time since she had used her true name. Naruto looked at her and smiled. It was really beautiful name, just like her. It's really beautiful name. Her cheeks reddened a little. It was first time for her that someone called her that, and with such affection. Thank you, Naruto-kun. I hadn't used it in a long time. They snuggled closer to each other, not wanting to let go. Can we stay like this the rest of the night? Naruto really didn't want to let her go. Of course, we can stay like this as long as you want it. It's not like she wanted to let go of him too. End of flashback. From that day Naruto would go in his mind to be with her. But he also trained with her too. They weren't going to stop it. Then he weren't inside the seal. Akemi would leak small amount of her yoki so that they could talk. She could hear his thoughts but she couldn't sense or see outside world. Naruto wanted to let her out of seal so she could experience outside world. So he started studying his seal, looking through his parents' notes, and ones he got from Mito, trying to find a way to free her. He left everything else for clones, but he didn't forget his psychical training. He also helped Anko, helping her learn some jutsu and sparring with her. Sparring with her helped him a lot. Now he could defeat her, and he was more confident in his fights. Anko progressed really far in just a month. She learned some jutsu from Hokage library and his family. She also becomes stronger and faster. She said she was almost as fast as Mito guy without his weights. That was possible because he put a seal on her that would take some of her chakra at all times and convert it into medical one, then it would send back to her again. It made her recovery time a lot shorter. It also helped to increase her chakra reserves. He wondered how no one thought of it before. He left some clones to study medical knowledge. He wondered if it was possible to make a seal that would make someone Uzumaki. It would help his dream of restoring his clan. If it was possible, he would ask if his most trusted friends would want to become Uzumaki. His training with flying wasn't completed but it would be enough to escape from Konoha. Ha could fly about half his speed, but even that was faster than most Chunin. He was standing on Hokage Mountain, waiting for the right moment to fly from there. He needed to wait for barrier that was around Konoha to be lifted so another team could take place in maintaining it. It took him a whole month to know their pattern. He would leave then it was lifted and fly to water country. There he would summon Anko and they both would travel to Yuzu together. He also wasn't going to leave Konoha without one last prank. He hoped that they would like it. He put a lot of work into it. He just needed to release Genjutsu seal that he placed to cover his work. He didn't want for someone to see it too early. Naruto stiffened as memories of clone come to him. It was of barrier team being replaced. It's time. He quickly made his way out of Konoha. 5 hours later Naruto was at the edge of water country. He was panting from exhaustion, flew as fast as he could and then he was out of fire country, run all the way to water country. It was really tiring even for him to travel this far. He wanted to hit himself for not placing some seals with clones he sent so he could teleport later. But he also didn't want for someone to accidentally stumbling upon them. He stopped in the clearing and made a couple clones to place a barrier. He didn't need unvented attention. He also needed some rest so he could summon Anko. 30 minutes later Naruto stood in the middle of the clearing and concentrated. Channeling some chakra to the seal he felt a pull to Konoha. He concentrated on it and pulled it to him. Less than a second later Anko appeared in a purple flash. She looked around until she saw Naruto. I take it everything went as planned? She could see that he was exhausted. That meant he was running at full speed as far as he could. Yeah, we're in water country near border. Now we're going to shore, there we rest and then continue to Yuzu. Did you get everything you need? Naruto started running through trees, besides him Anko. Yeah, I got everything I need. I'm just a little sad that I couldn't say goodbye to Kurenai or other girls. She didn't want to worry them but if she told them that she was leaving Konoha and with Naruto of all people, they would have tried to stop her. You know, after we complete civil war in Kiri you could contact your friends and see if they would want to join us. Not everyone in Konoha is bad, just make sure that they wouldn't betray us. I don't want that kind of thing around us. What he hated the most was traitors, and didn't want any of these around him. Anko looked at Naruto as they leaped from branch to another. She didn't think that he would be willing to let anyone from Konoha to join him. But he let her see if her friends would be willing to join. But then again, he knew what it's like to have no friends so he wanted for her to have someone to talk to. She smiled at him, he really was kind. Thanks, I'll think about it. She thought if anyone would be willing join. She was certain that Hana wouldn't join her, she was Inuzuka and her pack was the most important. Yugao, she wasn't certain, she loved Konoha and she have a boyfriend. As for Kurenai she thought if she could find some valid reason she would join her. She didn't have a family, and she didn't have boyfriends so no one tied her to Konoha. Maybe she'll give it a try. 2 hours later they reached shore there they stopped to rest. We'll rest for some time. We will need a lot of chakra to get to Yuzu. He knew direction he needed to take. He studied all the maps he could find. Do you really think we'll be able to cross it? I don't even see the island. She didn't want to drop to bottom of the sea. It should be enough. You better turn off your healing seal. You'll need all your chakra. If you're too low to reach the island, I'll take you rest of the way. He knew he had enough chakra to reach Yuzu, he just wasn't certain about Anko. Okay. Then we better rest. We also should wait for the night. It would cower us and someone from Kiri wouldn't accidentally see us. Then we rest and continue to Yuzu at sunset. I wonder how Konoha is doing. I wanted to see their reactions then they see your newest prank. But don't you think that they would figure out who left it? You kind of made it very easy to guess. She really wanted to see the reaction of civilians, especially council. Per Hokage, this is going to be one big headache for him. I want them to figure out that it was I. What's the point of it if they couldn't figure out? Now they will be a lot more cautious. They'll know that I knew of Kyuubi, and the fact that I managed to escape from Konoha without a trail. Leave all that and the fact that you also disappeared will make them more wary of me. The truth was that he did all that just for the fun of it. Anko looked at him, seeing his eyes sparkle with mirth. You just did that for the fun of it, didn't you? Naruto looked at her serious. Yeah. He grinned at her. I left some clones. They will take some pictures and then send them to us. It should be almost time for them to remove Genjutsu from Hokage Mountain. I can't wait to see them, she smirked too. Konoha. It was beautiful morning in Konoha. Sun was shining and there weren't even a smallest cloud in the sky. Civilians in the streets doing their daily routines, some shops they're just opening. Shinobi they're running on the roofs, some just come back from missions, some just going to get them. In academy, young shinobi in training they're waiting for class to start. Some they're just sitting and talking with their friends. Some were arguing who gets a seat next to Uchiha Sasuke as he continued to brood, ignoring them. Only one saw that Uzumaki Naruto was missing. She was Hyuga Eris, Hyuga Hinata. She had a crush on him as she admired his courage and never giving up attitude. Yumino Irika and his assistant Mizuki entered classroom to start lessons. Irika, like always, had to use his big head jutsu for class to finally calm down. He first started with class roll, looking who wasn't there. Then he comes to one particular name. At first he hated it but not anymore. Uzumaki Naruto. But there wasn't an answer. Uzumaki Naruto. He tried again but with the same result. He wondered there that troublemaker was. He would have continued but he was interrupted, then chaos started. First it was one scream, followed by many more. Students quickly rushed outside, ignoring their teachers, wanting to see what's going on. Then they got outside, they saw that a lot of civilians there looking scared, some they're out cold on the ground. A lot them they're pointing at Hokage Mountain. They decided to see what's so scary. They couldn't believe what they saw. The faces of Hokage there changed. Shodai Hokage had an angry scowl just like the second, but their forehead protectors were slashed, making it look as if they become missing nin. The third had a perverted grin, and it looked like blood was flowing from his nose. The fourth was the most surprising. It looked like a face of their missing classmate Naruto. It had the same grin as him with whisker marks on his cheeks. His forehead protector was also slashed, indicating the missing nin. Is that Naruto? Someone asked. Some of more intelligent kids understood why the fourth looked like Naruto. Or more correctly, Naruto looked like fourth. One other surprise was a statue of Kyuubi about 2 stories tall. There also was someone sitting on top of it. I would bet anything that it was Naruto who did it. Inuzuka Kiba also wondered if Naruto made a statue of Kyuubi. It looked kind of cool. He also didn't like that he made it look like first and second Hokage there are missing nin. I wonder there he's now, with Hokage. Sarutobi Hiruzen, god of shinobi, third Hokage. He had many names. He though in 2 shinobi world wars, and through all his experience he developed a sense that would warn him if something bad would happen. And now it was screaming like never before. Hokage looked at the mountain where faces of all Konoha Hokage there put. He was angry that it was defiled like that, making it look like his teachers are missing nin. But he was afraid of what will happen next. It was clearly that it was Naruto who did it. The face of Yandane replaced my Naruto. Statue of Kyuubi, with him on top of it. It all pointed that Naruto knew about the Kyuubi and his family. Well, he certainly knew who his father is. And soon everyone will know. But the look on the face of Naruto was a bit of concern. That smirk of his. It was as if he was mocking them. He wouldn't be surprised if Naruto had already left village. If he managed to do this kind of thing, what more was he hiding? He heard as Anbu shined inside his office. Hokage-sama, we can't destroy statue of Kyuubi, it's protected by some sort of seal. The faces of Hokage are also protected. And we don't know how to destroy the seal. Hokage sighed. He knew that Naruto was learning about seal. He himself gave scrolls, he even have tested him. But to think that he was this good with them, to create a barrier that wouldn't let even destroy a simple statue. Go, call council meeting. Also, send a team of Anbu and locate Jiraiya, tell him that Naruto is gone. Send tracking team, try to locate Naruto Uzumaki. Send a team of Anbu to his home too, see if they can find anything. I'm going to Hokage Mountain, I'll look at the seal. Hi, Hokage-sama. With that all Anbu disappeared. 10 minutes later Hokage was standing in front of miniature, lifelike statue of Kyuubi, with Naruto on its head. He was really impressed, it looked almost real. He looked around, trying to locate the seal that protected it, then he found them on one of its legs. He couldn't understand them. As much as he tried, they didn't make any sense to him. They looked the same. They looked like circle of kanji, and in the middle of it was Uzumaki swirl. I hope Jiraiya would be able to destroy these seal. We can't have this thing standing too long. Hokage then looked at Hokage faces. If seal, they're different. He was glad that they were quite simple to remove. He immediately started removing them, starting with Yondaime head. 30 minutes later he was done, and Hokage faces they're back to normal, except that mark on their forehead protectors. He'll have to assign some Doton ninjutsu specialists to repair it. Now he needed to return to council meeting. 20 minutes later Hokage entered council chamber. Everyone was already there. As you can guess, I called you all here because of our newest prank. It was done by Naruto Uzumaki. He clearly didn't hide that fact. He was interrupted by civilian council shouting for his death. But it was already bad day for Hokage. He was old and tired of all this, and now they're demanding that he would execute Naruto, shouting at him, and even ordering. He already had a headache, he snapped. Silence! Hokage shouted, blasting them with killing intent. Umbu! Take all civilian council to Ibiki. They dare order me. That's a treason. I'm Hokage, and you do as I say. Tell Ibiki that he can do anything he wants, he just has to find what they know. Just as he finished, all civilians disappeared to Ibiki. Silence only was heard. No one could believe what happened. Shinobi section was happy that finally Hokage got rid of civilians. It was military village, not a playground. 3 elders weren't happy. Without civilian council they didn't have power they had before. Now, if anyone has anything to say, wait until I'm finished or you also be getting a date with Ibiki. He looked at everyone, and seeing that they understood he continued, as I was saying. Naruto was the one who did it. I sent a team to look for him and also his apartment. I was at Hokage Mountain to see the seals that prevented my Umbu from destroying that statue of Kyuubi, but I couldn't even understand the seals that they're placed on it. Only the ones on Hokage face they're easy to remove. I have sent a team to get Jiraiya so he could look at the seals. Now anyone have any questions? Everyone was surprised that Hokage couldn't remove seals that they're placed by a 10-years-old kid, but if he could change Hokage faces and place a statue of Kyuubi and no one saw it, they shouldn't be surprised. But one question everyone wanted the answer to. Is the father of Uzumaki really Yondaime? Asked Nara Shikaku. He respected Yondaime, and were good friends with him, but to think he couldn't figure out that Naruto was a son of Yondaime was quite a blow to him. With IQ of over 200 and he didn't notice similarities. It was really embarrassing. Hokage sighed. Naruto just had to go and do something like this. Yes, but I don't want anyone talking about it. We can't have that knowledge spread around. Civilians won't believe, they just think it's a work of a demon. I don't want some village trying to recruit him, or IWA to kill him. If he is killed it could release Kyuubi, and don't think anyone would want that. Everyone could agree with it. The thought of facing Kyuubi again wasn't something they wanted. But Hokage-sama, what are we going to do? Now that Naruto escaped the village, how are we going to retrieve him? We need the strength of Kyuubi, and if Naruto really is that good with seals he could be invaluable to us. Danzo was cursing himself for not approaching Naruto sooner. He knew something was strange after that incident with Sasuke. He even placed his root to monitor him, but they didn't found anything. It could be that he knew he was being watched and acted according. I'm going to assign Jiraiya to find Naruto. He have a lot of spies, it shouldn't take long for them to find him. He really hoped that Jiraiya would be able to find Naruto. Hokage-sama, we should place Uzumaki in bingo book. It would be faster in getting him back. That was Koharu Yutane, teammate of Hokage. Hokage wondered if it was time for her to retire. We can't. If we place 10 years old, academy student that failed to graduate 2 times, but managed to escape Konoha and we can't even locate him, how do you think other shinobi nations react? And if we place his photo everyone will be able to see who his father is. Konoha would be a laughingstock. Everyone knew that would be really bad. They could lose a lot of clients. Just then Umbu appeared. Hokage-sama, sorry for interruption, we have report. The apartment of Uzumaki was empty, we couldn't find anything inside. We also got a report that Anko Mitarashi is missing, her home also is empty. Reported Umbu, waiting for next orders. Hokage wasn't surprised that they didn't find anything, but to think that Anko is missing was really troubling. The only thing he could think was if she was with Naruto. To think that you managed to convince Anko. She's most loyal Konoha shinobi. The only thing I could think to make her betray Konoha is if you managed to find a way to remove her cursed seal. But if you're already that good with seals that you can remove that one, then you surpassed even Jiraiya, and maybe your father too. He was proud that Naruto become a seal master in such a young age. But that just provided how powerful he could become later. Thank you, you can go now. And Umbu disappeared. We'll be placing Anko as A-rank missing Nin. She most likely is with Naruto. I can only think of one reason she would betray her village, and that's if Naruto managed to find a way how to remove her cursed seal. Hokage looked as everyone had a look of shock. They knew that even Jiraiya couldn't remove it. If Naruto managed to do that then he's a seal master, better than Jiraiya. This meeting is over. And with that, Hokage exited. Danzo was fuming. He just lost his chance at getting his hands on Jinchuriki. And he had such plans for him. After he exited Hokage Tower and walked into an alley, he quickly took out a seal tad and activated, but nothing happened. I should have known, he must have found the seal on her and removed it. I'll have to send a team of Orochi agents to look for them. They could become a real threat for Konoha. I need to remove them before they become too strong. Danzo continued his walk, thinking of the best way to get rid of them. Next day, Hokage office. Hokage was sitting in his chair thinking what to do. He looked at documents that provided that Naruto was really a son of Yondaime, but he still felt like something was not right with the documents. So he decided to test his theory and tried to burn one of less necessary documents. A couple of seconds of burning it disappeared in puff of smoke. They were all fake. He didn't know how he managed to do it, but he knew that only Naruto could open that safe without him. Now he had all the documents that provided his heritage, and also one he made with Danzo. At least Danzo wouldn't get his hands on Naruto. It also wasn't good that Naruto knew where his house is. It meant that he could have already taken everything from it. With Jutsu of Yondaime and Kushina he could become really powerful. And if he learns Hiraishin, it would really bad for Konoha to make an enemy of him. Hokage looked up as he felt familiar presence in his office. Jiraiya, it's good to see you again. A tall man with waist-length, spiky white hair, forehead protector with kanji for oil, stepped from the shadows. Sensei, it's good to see you too. I wasn't far from Konoha, and come as quickly as I could after hearing that Naruto escaped. Is it really true? Unfortunately, yes. He was missing from yesterday. I presume you saw that Kyuubi statue on Hokage Mountain? He got a lot of complaints about it, but he couldn't do anything about it yet. Jiraiya saw it, and was really surprised at first, especially then he saw Naruto's sighting on its head. He also wondered why no one destroyed it. Yeah, I saw it. Why haven't you taken it off? We can't, it's protected by seals and I don't know how to destroy them. Naruto also changed faces of Hokage, but it was easy to remove the seals and repair. If you want to see how it looked, I have some photo. Hokage handed him photo of Hokage Mountain. Jiraiya was a little shocked that Naruto made it look like Hokage, their missing nin, and his make it look like it was his face in place of Yondaime. They really do look alike. So you want me to remove seals that protect that statue and find Naruto? It wasn't hard to figure what Hokage wanted. Yes, I also think that Anko is with him. She disappeared the same day as he. That was news for Jiraiya. It was kind of shocked that Anko would run from Konoha. He thought she was most loyal shinobi and wouldn't do something like Orochimaru. He didn't know what could happen to make her leave. Then he remembered something, a cursed seal. You think that Naruto found a way to remove a cursed seal that Orochimaru placed on Anko? Don't you think it's a little far-fetched? Even I couldn't remove it, and you think a 10-year-old brat could remove it? He had studied the seal intensively. And he still couldn't find a way to remove it. Hokage sighed. He knew that Jiraiya wouldn't believe it. Let's go to Hokage Mountain. You'll see what kind of seals Naruto created. 10 minutes later both were standing in front of statue. The seals are on that leg. Motioned Hokage to where seals are. 10 minutes later, Jiraiya looked at Hokage with serious face. I don't know how to remove them. I don't even know what kind of seals they are. They're protected by some sort of seal. The only one I know who could do something like that was Uzumaki Mito. How is it possible for him to reach that kind of seal mastery? I know that Kushina could use something like this only on some seals. Minato told me once that then Kushina tried to explain the concept of these kinds of seals. Even he couldn't understand them. It's beyond my knowledge. I'll try something to destroy statue, but I'm not sure if it will work. Jiraiya took his sealing supplies and started making a seal tag. 5 minutes later he was finished. It's explosive tag, but it's more powerful than regular one. He placed it and retreated so he wouldn't be caught in the blast. As he activated it, the seal lit up, but before it could explode, it sizzled and disappeared. Damn, it can even prevent other seals from activating. Then how about brute force? He enchanted his arm with chakra to make it more destructive. He swung his arm at the leg, but after it hit there wasn't even a crack in it. Jiraiya looked at the spot he punched, impressed. He placed his hand and channeled chakra. After a few seconds he retrieved his hand. I really want to meet him. He managed to make a seal that absorbs chakra and strengthens the statue. He really is a genius with seals. I don't know how he managed to link them together that it would absorb from other seals and even chakra enchanted punch. He really was impressed by seals that they're made. If Naruto just made these for a prank, he really wanted to see what else he had. Then how do we remove this statue? I have enough paperwork as it is, I don't need any more. And we can't leave it. As much as he didn't mind leaving it, some didn't like it. I think I know how to destroy it. He may have thought of a way to absorb chakra, but I don't think he knew about natural chakra. It's a different from normal. Jiraiya sat in meditate position, not moving a muscle. His appearance changed. Now he had a goatee, a larger nose with warts, and webbed hands and feet. He opened his eyes and they changed to bar-like pupils. He stood up and approached statue and punched it. This time it didn't stop his attack and was destroyed. Well, as I thought, he didn't know or anticipated someone able to use natural chakra. He exited his sage mode. Well, at least that worked. Then can you go look for Naruto? It couldn't be that hard to locate him. Jiraiya was about to respond, they were interrupted. Wow, and I thought it will take a lot more for you to destroy it. I really didn't know that there was something like natural chakra. I'll have to study it later. They heard a voice. Hokage and Jiraiya looked to see Naruto stepping from behind the trees. Naruto! Both Hokage and Jiraiya shouted. Hi, old man. You know, I really put a lot of work into that statue. Well, at least I have some photo of civilians and shinobi reactions. And you must be Jiraiya of the Sannin, my grandfather. In my mother's journal I read that you were self-proclaimed super pervert. I take it you're not the real Naruto. Hokage studied Naruto. He was wearing black underpants with red shirt, and black jonin-like jacket. No, just a clone. Well, I have to go. Need to deliver photos to boss. Before Hokage or Jiraiya could do anything, Naruto disappeared in a crimson flash. Both shinobi stared in shock. Hokage was first to recover. That was Hiration, didn't it? It was shocking to see that jutsu one more time, especially in color of red. He modified it. Naruto modified Hiration. Minato told me that the color of the flash was because of light bending around distortion in space. He wanted to change it too but couldn't. He never said why. He's a lot stronger than I thought. We didn't even sense him, and he was just behind the tree. He also knows Hiration. I hope he isn't going for revenge. Hokage was a little glad that Naruto called him old man. At least he didn't hate him that much. I'm going to look for him. I don't know if I'll be able to find him or not, but I'll try. With that, Jiraiya disappeared in the swirl of leaves. Hokage looked at the statue. Maybe I should have left it. He also disappeared in the swirl of leaves. Yuzushio. Naruto and Anko have arrived in Yuzu in the morning and found only ruins. Naruto made as many Kage Bunshin as he could and tasked them with placing barrier around whole island. It was his most advanced barrier he made. It would apply genjutsu so it would look like everything was the same. It also would mask any chakra spikes and sounds, and most important was that it was impossible to get inside the barrier without him allowing. It created a separate dimension. It was his most prized work. He still couldn't create his own dimension, but it was just as good. It took him almost all day to complete his barrier, but it was finally over. Anko was looking for a good place to stay, that wasn't destroyed in the attack. She found one house at the edge of village that was relatively unharmed, it just needed some cleaning. Now both they're sitting in the room discussing. Then Naruto will remove curse seal. Then tomorrow I'll send my Kage Bunshin to clean and prepare a room. We're still too exhausted from the journey, and all the clones I needed to make for the barrier. It really exhausted him, and activation took a lot of his chakra. Okay, I can wait one more day. She was interrupted as Clone appeared in Crimson Flash. Hey boss, got some funny photos for you. Clone tossed the scroll. Their photos were sealed and puffed out. Naruto smiled at the memories of the clone. It was really funny to see reaction at his work. The chaos it created was hilarious. Passed out civilians, screaming and running around like headless chickens. He was a little sad that his statue was destroyed and he liked it too. Kyubi especially liked it. She didn't have any, so she was really happy that he had built one. He decided to build one in Yuzu. He wasn't concerned about Jiraiya. He won't find him. Even if he does, it's impossible for him to get here. Here's some photo after they saw what I left. He tossed Anko the scroll. I'm going to sleep. Tomorrow we have a lot of work to do. It's also the start of our training. With that he got up and headed to his room, leaving Anko. Good night, I'll see you tomorrow. Anko looked through collection of photos, laughing at the reaction of civilians and shinobi. She wondered what would happen if the real Kyubi showed up and not just the statue. I better go to sleep too. Tomorrow's finally the day I'll be free from Orochimaru. With that she drifted to sleep, a small smile on her peaceful face. Naruto and Anko were standing in an empty room. Both of them looked at how clones drew seals in the middle of it. The seal is really big and concentrated on two spots, one in the middle, where Anko will be sitting, and another besides her, their fragment of Orochimaru's soul will be. Naruto also put seals on Anko, around her cursed seal. The whole process will only last a couple of minutes, but after that seal will be gone. Naruto designed the seal so it would separate cursed seal from Anko, then extract all substance and chakra that seal put in her. Then all that is gone, Naruto will proceed to extract soul fragment from cursed seal. Because Anko will be losing a lot of her chakra, Naruto also needed to design a seal that would replenish it. Anko shifted nervously. It's finally the day she will be free from Orochimaru. It was her most desired dream, well besides torturing Orochimaru until he would beg for his mommy. She knew it would be painful. Naruto explained process of the seal to her, but she didn't care. As long as she got rid of it she would bear the pain. Boss, we're finished. Everything's ready. Naruto looked at Anko. Seeing her a little nervous, he placed a hand on her shoulder, smiling at her. Everything will be alright, trust me. Anko looked at him, and smiled a small smile. I trust you. It's just, I can finally get rid of this thing after so long, but it still feels like a dream. Then it's over, you won't need to worry about it. Now take off your top and sit in the middle, we need to finish it. Anko didn't even try to tease him, she just sat in the middle of array, half naked. 10 minutes later Naruto finished drawing seals on her, and now was crouching at the edge of array. It's time. Just bear it for a little. Okay, I'm ready. Her voice strong and determined. Naruto started doing about a dozen hand signs. He finished, and slammed his hands on the array. Sealing art, evil soul extraction. Seal began to glow and started to retract to Anko. She gritted her teeth, bearing the pain. After a minute, from her shoulder came a sickly greenish light, and it traveled to a scroll near her. On it appeared a circle with Uzumaki's swirl in the middle. The mark on her shoulder disappeared too, not leaving even a mark. Anko lay on the ground, panting from pain and stress she felt. What are you going to do with that thing? She tried to sit up but was still too exhausted from the process. I'm going to place some seals to torture it, and then destroy it. He will feel every bit of pain the soul felt, and destruction of his fragment will put him in insane pain. That's the least he can do for what he put Anko through. Anko smiled. At least that snake would feel some pain. That's good. She passed out from exhaustion. Naruto made a clone to place Anko in her room. She needed rest from the process. Tomorrow he'll need to see what effects were left from the seal. Naruto took a scroll and started applying seals on it. He didn't know that many that would affect the soul, but it would be enough to put it through some serious pain. He wondered what kind of reaction Orochimaru will have after fragment of his soul destroyed. It really interested him. Oh well, you can have everything you want. With that he continued to draw seals. Rise country. Orochimaru base. Orochimaru was sitting in his chair, thinking about a plan in destroying Konoha. Then he started to feel pain. It just came out of nowhere. At first it wasn't anything he couldn't bear, but it started to increase every second, and he couldn't understand where it was coming from. One minute he's plotting destruction of Konoha, the next he started feeling pain, and it's starting to reach the point where even he can't bear. Kabuto! He couldn't bear it anymore and started screaming. Kabuto ran into his master's chamber to find him screaming and ripping at his chest. He quickly performed medical jutsu to see what's wrong, but he couldn't find anything. He tried to put Orochimaru to sleep, but it didn't work too. Nothing he did worked. Orochimaru felt like he being stabbed by hot blade in every inch of his body while being drowned in acid. Like his body being ripped inch at a time. It's first time in his life he felt like that. He always wanted immortality and learn all the jutsu possible. But now he wanted to die than live one more second of this agonizing pain. Half an hour later the pain finally stopped. Orochimaru lay on the medical bed, his arms and legs there bound. The mere memory of that pain made him almost scream. Orochimaru-sama, are you alright now? Orochimaru couldn't help but shudder slightly. No, I'm not. What was wrong with me? His voice just a whisper from all the screaming. I don't know. I couldn't find anything abnormal. You're perfectly fine. Kabuto couldn't figure out the cause behind his master's sudden attack as much as he tried. He had to bound Orochimaru or else he would have even killed himself. He couldn't imagine what kind of pain his master felt that he almost killed himself. Untie me and leave. I need some time alone. Kabuto, sensing master's anger, did as told, leaving Orochimaru on the bed. Just as Kabuto left, Orochimaru started shivering. Memory of that immense pain still fresh in his mind. He could still feel a dull pain. He was very tolerant to pain, but even a memory of that pain he could barely tolerate. He needed to get rid of these memories, or he could go insane. He took some sealing supplies and started applying memory suppression seal. I'm going to kill the one who did this to me. He couldn't believe he has to resort to something like this. Yuzushi Ogakure. Next day, Anko opened her eyes. Sun shone through the window. She felt good. She hadn't felt like this in years. She felt clean. Memories of previous day come to her. She looked at her shoulder, hoping it wasn't just a dream. But it isn't a dream. She didn't have cursed mark. With a big smile she jumped out of her bed and quickly changed. She needed to thank Naruto. Without him she still would be in Konoha and with Seal. She found Naruto making breakfasts. Naruto! Anko ran to him and embraced, kissing him on the lips. She didn't care if she is almost twice his age. She's incredibly happy and was going to show it. Naruto froze, then Anko started kissing him. He already had kissed Akemi lot of times and he really enjoys it. But he certainly didn't expect for Anko to kiss him. Naruto recovered and pulled from the kiss. Stop, you can't do that. Anko looked at him, wondering if he didn't like her. That thought strangely made her heart clench. You don't like me? Her voice just a whisper. She didn't feel as a small tear started forming in the corner of her eye. Naruto froze, seeing the look in her eyes. He didn't like seeing Anko like that. She should be happy and cheerful. No. Of course I like you. How can you think I don't? It's just that I already have a girlfriend, and I'm not going to cheat on her. He isn't going to cheat on Akemi. He won't betray her, no matter what. You do? Who? She wondered how come he never said anything. And why isn't she here? It's Akemi-chan. Akemi? She didn't know anyone with that name. Oh right, I didn't tell you. It's the name of Kyubi. Anko stared at him, not believing what she just heard. She knew that Kyubi is a girl, but to think that she is his girlfriend, she wouldn't have believed it if anyone else said that. While Anko still in shock from what Naruto said, he got his own shock. While Naruto and Anko were talking, Akemi was listening and heard everything from the moment Anko kissed Naruto. Then Naruto said that his girlfriend is Akemi. She decided to speak. Naruto, I'm glad you feel like that. I know you wouldn't cheat on me, you're far better than that. But that doesn't mean you can't have another girlfriend. Demons isn't into that monogamy. A lot of them have couple and more partners. If you love them and they love you and don't mind sharing, I'm okay with it. It would also help you revive your clan. It was quite popular for demons to have more than one mate, and if Naruto loved them she didn't mind. Naruto listened in shock. He couldn't believe what his girlfriend is telling him. She just said that he can have more than one girlfriend. You don't mind? But only if you approve of them, and they love me and don't have anything against you. He wouldn't even love someone who would blame Kyubi for something that wasn't her fault. Now tell Anko that. From what you told me about her and from what I have seen, I know she wouldn't mind sharing and I'm quite certain that she likes you. Naruto looked at Anko. She still was in shock. Well, you can't blame her. It certainly isn't every day you find out that most powerful demon have a boyfriend, and he's 10 years old. Anko, she looked at him. Akemi told me that I can have more than one girlfriend, as long as we love each other. I know I like you. You're my first real friend, well, human at least. You funny and I like being with you. And Akemi said she didn't mind sharing with you. It was strange for him trying to get another girlfriend, but he liked Anko and if he can make her happy, he would do it, just like for Akemi. Anko looked at him, thinking what to do. Did she love him? Well, she certainly likes him. He's the first person that she can relax and enjoy herself, and she enjoyed the kiss. The thought of sharing him wasn't that bad. If he would love them all, and she knew that Naruto certainly would. She didn't mind sharing him with Kyubi. Akemi, she corrected herself. It wasn't her fault that she was forced to attack Konoha. She looked at Naruto. She may be twice his age, but in a couple of years he certainly would become handsome guy, and with his stamina Anko started imaging all the things they could do, and not just the two of them. She stopped her trail of thoughts then Naruto as he saw her start daydreaming. Oh, I don't mind sharing, Murakami. She smiled and walked to him. She leaned and captured his lips with her own. Naruto this time responded and kissed her back. Both enjoying the feeling, they broke apart, but still held each other. What did you do to that bastard soul fragment? Oh, I put all seals that I knew that could inflict any damage on it and destroyed it. I just wonder if Orochimaru felt anything. This is the first time I've done something like that, and I want to know what effects it caused. It really intrigued him. He'll have to ask Orochimaru if he ever encounter him. I hope he suffered. Me too. Now let's have a breakfast. We need to explore Yuzu. We may find something. The people here were seal masters and could have sealed something. Also Mito said in the letter that she was going here, she may have left something. He wanted to look at his clan village. He didn't have time earlier. He also didn't want to use Kage Bunshin for it. He need to see himself. Both Anko and Naruto were walking through the ruins of once great village. Now it's reduced to rubble. There were some buildings that still stood. Naruto looked around, imagining what it looked before. He couldn't help but think of what would have been if Uzuo hadn't fallen. He'll need to rebuild it, but he has one huge problem. He didn't know how to build. He may have Kage Bunshin, and they could read about building but he didn't have skills for it, or experience. He'll have to find someone to build him a village. He could provide with materials and improve tools with seals, it would be faster. But he'll need money, and a lot of it. Maybe we should do some bounty hunting, look for some missing neens, or do some missions. That way we could gather some money. But first he needs to become stronger. If he wants a village he needs to be strong enough to defend it. After some time it's bound that other nations would find about new village. It can't be too well hidden if even potential clients wouldn't know about it. His thoughts were interrupted by Anko. Hey Naruto-kun, look at that. He looked at Anko to see her pointing just a little to his left. He turned to see what it was. He saw that it was a building, similar to Hokage Tower in Konoha, but this one was taller and bigger. It also had a big symbol for Uzumaki clan, but it's really damaged. He could only think that it's the tower for Uzukage. But it wasn't as damaged as he thought it would be. That should be the place their Kage was located. But I wonder why it wasn't destroyed. I thought it would be the first target. After the come to the tower, Naruto started looking why it wasn't destroyed. The only thing he could think of is some sort of seals. Looking around the walls he found that there were seals engraved into walls. Some there similar to ones he made to strengthen his statue of Kyubi, but they were slightly different. Some seals also acted as traps and defended the place. He looked at the door and bit his thumb. Placing it on the seal that was on the doors, he started channeling his chakra. Couple of seconds later it opened with a click. Did you see how many skeletons there are? I'm glad that you're here. Anko have spotted a lot of headbands from IWA, Kiri and Kumo. She even saw some from Konoha. Yeah, you should be. He grinned at her. Smartass. Anko sent him a mock glare. You know you like it. Still grinning at her, he planted a kiss on the lips. He wondered if Kyubi was rubbing off him. Anko had a light hue of pink on her cheeks, not expecting for Naruto to do something like that. Okay, let's go inside. He motioned for her to follow. You know this isn't over. She wasn't going to let him tease her and get away with it. Naruto looked at her and smiled. And I wouldn't want it any other way. With that he started heating inside. Anko followed him a second later. She had enough time to get back at him. Inside it was very different from Hokage Tower. There were a lot of corridors with hidden passages. It was easy to get lost if you didn't know your way around. Naruto also saw that there were a lot of seal, some for detection, and some for that if triggered would launch a jutsu. He also saw some that he didn't know about. After half an hour of exploring tower, they found what they thought was a Kage office. Papers were scattered all around the place. Some photos of red-haired people. Looking around, he saw that on the desk is a seal. It was very similar to one that he found scrolls of Mito. He decided to see what it contained. This one was easier to open, it wasn't guarded that heavily. In a puff of smoke, a scroll appeared. Naruto took it and started reading. Hello fellow Uzumaki. I'm Mito Uzumaki, the daughter of second Uzukage. You may not know me, but if you're reading this letter, that means that you're Uzumaki, and not everything is lost for us. I have come here after my husband died, and I found that Konoha didn't help Yuzu even if they were allies. I also found that it was because of Konoha backstabbing that Yuzu had fallen. I don't have much time to live, a month at most. I'm going to place myself in stasis so that I can help you learn everything I know before my time is up. I'm in the secret vault, with all of our knowledge. Only a true Uzumaki could ever access it. I'm putting all my hopes in you. I don't want for Uzumaki to be forgotten. I'll do everything to ensure that. Uzumaki Mito, your future sensei. Naruto couldn't believe that Mito is still alive. To think that she even put herself into stasis so she could teach future Uzumaki. She didn't even know that she would be even found. Anko also had a look of shock. She didn't think that someone would go that far for one's family. We need to find that vault. There she is. Naruto really wanted to meet Mito, she was his family. But how do we find it? This place is huge, it could be in another part of the island. And I bet it's protected with all sorts of seals. It could take months and we wouldn't find it. She could see that Naruto wanted to meet Mito, she was his family after all. Have you forgotten that I have Kage Bunshin, and seal detection seal? With that it would only take a couple of hours. He started making clones that quickly left to look for vault. Oh yeah, you had that too. Well, at least it won't take long. It took them half the day to find location of vault. And now they are standing in front of it. It was located in the far end of the village, hidden inside a cave. You couldn't find it if you didn't know it was here. It was hidden by powerful genjutsu seal with barrier that prevented anyone from getting inside. Naruto only found it because he had his seal detection seal. He started drawing some seals around barrier seal. He didn't know required hand seals to enter the cave, so he need to temporarily disable it. 10 minutes later it was done and both Naruto and Anko walked into the cave. It was dark, just barely visible. But it is huge and it clearly showed that no one was here in a long time. Naruto stopped in front of the doors that they're half the size of Konoha main gates. They were decorated with waves-like design and in the middle was a big swirl. He come closer and could see that it required blood to open them. He didn't waste time and quickly applied some of his blood. With a click the doors opened, allowing Naruto and Anko to step inside. The vault was huge, filled with rows of bookshelves filled with scrolls and books. He could see that there is armory too. Naruto and Anko separated, wanting to see what was in here. Library in Konoha couldn't even compare to this one. Naruto looked through some scrolls and found that there are a lot of jutsu that he hadn't even heard before. With everything he could become most powerful shinobi in the world. He was about to head to the armory, then he heard Anko shout his name. He quickly run there, thinking that she got in some traps. As he got near her he saw that she looked fine and stood in front of the bed. And in it lay beautiful red-haired woman. She looked like she was in her mid-30s. She has long red hair that was neatly laid behind her. She wore beautiful light blue kimono with dark blue swirls. It showed that she had D-cup and her figure was lean but still had feminine curves. That's Mito. Naruto couldn't believe she looked this good being over 100 years old. He knew that Uzumaki had long lives, he even read that some that lived for 300 years. But to think that they also retained their youth wasn't something he knew. I think every woman in the world would give anything to look like that then they reach over 100 years. Anko wouldn't mind being Uzumaki if she would look like that. Well, maybe you could. He found that it really could be done, in theory at least. You needed to change person's whole DNA, its chakra system and many other things. Practically it was impossible. But he didn't give up, he already has a seal that would change chakra system. With this new library he has now, he may find the rest he needed to complete the seal. He also could ask Mito for help. He was sad that she had just about months to live without stasis. Wait, maybe she don't need to die. I could change her damaged chakra system. No, it wouldn't work, it needs working chakra system. Still I can't just let her die, she's my family. I need to find some way to cure her, some kind of seal that would help her. He was brought back by slightly eager Anko. You can make me a Uzumaki? Is that even possible? The possibility of becoming Uzumaki really appealed to her. She has first-hand experience of what Uzumaki can do. If she would have stamina and chakra capacity close to Naruto, she could become one of the most very powerful Kunoichi in elemental countries. Not yet, but I'm working on a seal that should change someone to Uzumaki. In theory it could be done, but no one has succeeded before. In Konoha I didn't have enough information to work with, but maybe I'll be able to find something here. I'm also going to find a way to cure Mito. I just can't leave her to die. She's my family. He made 20 Kage Bunshin and directed for them to look for anything that could help in cure Mito. Cure her? But is it possible to cure the damage left from Biju extraction? I heard that after the process all hosts die. It's a miracle that Mito even lived. She didn't think it could be that easy to cure damage left from having Akemi extracted and then seal it into Kushina. I don't know, but I just can't let her die like that. She's the only family I have left as far as I know. I'm going to leave her in stasis until I find a way to cure her. He wasn't going to let his family die if he can save them, even if it looked impossible. Then are we going to start our training? Anko was eager to start her training. In just 1 month she and Naruto were training. She became almost as fast as Guy, and that was between missions and her work at TI. Now she could devote all her time in getting stronger, and with all the knowledge at her hands, she could become as powerful as Kage, maybe even more. With the help of Naruto, it wouldn't be impossible. The prospect of becoming more powerful than Orochimaru made her giddy. Then she sees him next time, she could pay him back for all the time she suffered because of him. Right now. We don't need to waste time. The sooner we start, the more time we have. I'm going to put a seal on you that will take some of your chakra and send it back into your chakra points, forcing them expand. It would be a slow process. Even if you have a seal that quickens yours healing, it can't reappear your chakra network. I'm also placing resistance seals. It will help with your stamina, and it will also make you stronger and faster. Naruto will make sure that Anko would become stronger than Sannin or Kage. What are you going to do? I know that you'll be looking for a way to cure Mito, but you're not going to abandon your training, are you? No, I'm going to let Kage Bunshin to do that. But I also can't place any resistance or gravity seals on myself. I just started my growth spurt, and I could stun it if I place on myself too much burden. I'm going to refine my taijutsu and elemental manipulation. I also need to think of some jutsu I could that would help us, and some I still need to learn from scrolls. Now that we are away from Konoha, I can start training and controlling Yoki of Alchemy. Then what are we waiting for? Anko looked eager to start her training. 3 months later, Naruto lay on his bed, thinking about tomorrow, all his training that he had done until now and his relationships with both Akemi and Anko. He and Akemi become even closer, and he knew without a doubt that he loves her. They also had a talk about him wanting to heal Mito. He knew that Mito was previous host of Alchemy, so he thought that it could bring some animosity between them, but it didn't happen. Akemi said that she didn't really hate Mito now. It will take some work to be friends, but for Naruto she would try. She wasn't going to take a chance from him to have a family member. In their relationship they hadn't gone beyond kissing and some light teasing. His body is still too immature and needs more time. But he didn't think he had that much time. He had seen in Akemi how hard it was for her to restrain herself sometimes. It wasn't easy for him too. With Anko, Naruto also become closer. They talked a lot, shared their past. Anko decided that if she couldn't have sex, then she decided next best thing, tease Naruto. She also decided to sleeping in the same bed, with outfit that would be better if she was naked. She wore a see-through night grow, with panties just as much revealing. With her pressing into him, Naruto had trouble sleeping for a couple of days. Training for Anko went really great. With all the seals that Naruto placed on her, she improved very fast. Her speed now matched his. She couldn't compare to him in stamina, but it improved greatly too. Her chakra reserves nearly doubled. Anko also started using Kage Bunshin for training. She couldn't make as many as Naruto, but it still helped to train her chakra control and jutsu practice. Naruto made a lot of progress in his training. He could concentrate on his training and didn't need to make sure he wasn't found out. He is a little faster and stronger, but not much, but he mastered his flight technique to the point where he is as fast with it as much as running. Mostly he improved his elemental manipulation with jutsu collection, and most of all, Fuinjutsu. His wind manipulation improved very little. All control exercises he could think didn't help. If he wanted to improve any more, he need for someone to teach him. Or he could have improved as much as it's possible already, and it's impossible for him to improve anymore. His water manipulation improved quite a bit compared to his wind. Now he could use water from atmosphere, just like Nidaime, but it still took quite a bit chakra from him. He just need a couple more months and he'll master his water manipulation. He couldn't help but be proud of his work in Fuinjutsu. Naruto really hoped that his clan would be proud of his achievements in it. He read everything he could find about Fuinjutsu in his clan library. He found seals that are just as complex if not more as his Shiki Fujin. There were barrier seals that he never thought of, some he applied to the one he put around Yuzu Island. Now he didn't need to lower barrier to let someone in or out. He put a seal on both himself and Anko. With it they could go through his barrier. He also created a seal for Anko which contains quite a bit of Alchemy Yoki. It would convert some of it to her chakra and send it to Anko with small dose of unconverted Yoki. It was similar to his seal that imprisoned Alchemy. With this seal Anko now have reserves bigger than Kage, and it was a lot denser. The most work he put into was designing a seal that would heal Mito. It took a lot of work to come up with theory and design the seal for it, but he succeeded. He couldn't just send some of Alchemy Yoki into Mito. She may have had Alchemy at one time, but now it would just harm her. Her chakra coils couldn't handle the strain placed from Alchemy Yoki. He couldn't place a seal similar to one he placed on Anko. It may not harm Mito, but the time needed for chakra coils to even start repairing would be too long and Mito didn't have that much time. But he found a way. It took a lot of thinking, but he managed to come up with a way to heal Mito. He made a seal that would create a barrier around Mito, a different dimension, similar to a one that he placed around Yuzu. But the one around Mito would be different. In it he could manipulate time. The hardest thing was how to make so that time would go back and so would body of Mito, but not that far that she would turn to a baby. He could only make it because of access to use a library. Without it, it would be impossible. He also modified stasis seals so that it would only affect her mind. He didn't know if her mind would also revert back, but he didn't want to take chances. Tomorrow would be the day then he active the seal. He already prepared a room and clones even now are checking seal to make sure everything is perfect. It took almost all day to draw the seal. It was even more complex than Shikifujin, but chakra required to power the seal was insane. He'll have to even use Akemi Yoki too. Naruto stopped his thoughts as he felt Anko stir beside him. They both there in his bed. You're okay, Naruto-kun? Why aren't you sleeping? It's late, and she could see slight worry in his face. I'm fine, just a little nervous. I have never attempted anything like I'll have to do tomorrow. He really hoped that everything would go smoothly. He knew theory, and the seal was ready, but he couldn't practice it on anyone. Don't worry, I know that everything would be alright. It's your seal, and you wouldn't attempt to do it if you weren't sure that everything would be fine. She hugged Naruto and kissed him lightly. Thanks. He kissed her back and hugged, relaxing himself. Anko too snuggled closer to him. The next day. It's beautiful day in Yuzu, sun shining brightly and birds singing. But Naruto and Anko didn't notice it. Naruto again looked through the seal, checking that everything is as it should be. Anko stood near a wall, nervous and slightly angry at herself. Even if she became stronger, she still couldn't help Naruto. Her only job is to give Naruto a solder pill and look after Mito, then sealing is finished. Naruto stood at the edge of sealing array. It's around 7 feet in diameter, with Mito lying in the middle of it. Okay, Anko, I'm starting. Anko nodded to him that she's ready too. Naruto flared his chakra and started doing hand signs. After almost 100 hand signs, he stopped on the last one, and once again flared his chakra. He placed his hands on the seal and started channeling his chakra. Couple of seconds later, whole room light up as the seal started shining. Naruto couldn't see as he concentrated on channeling his chakra, but Anko saw that in the place where Mito lay started to appear a sphere that surrounded Mito. Around 5 minutes later, Naruto started to feel his chakra running low, and started channeling Akemi Yoki. He didn't know how long he would need to power up the seal, but he hoped it would finish soon. He designed the seal that it would revert body of Mito a selected amount of time. He calculated that after the sealing Mito should be around 20. He just hoped that he didn't make a mistake and made her a baby, or worse, completely erased her. Almost 10 minutes later from sealing start, the seal started to dim, and couple of seconds later the sealing finished and Naruto passed out from chakra exhaustion. Anko quickly ran to Naruto and forced him a solder pill, hoping that he would wake up soon. Finished checking on Naruto, Anko made her way to Mito. She couldn't believe the results of the sealing. Then Naruto explained what the seal should do. She thought he was insane. Now looking at Mito, who looked like she was in her early 20s, she couldn't help but marvel at the seal's power. To think that Naruto managed to make a seal that could reverse time is still something hard to believe. Anko made a Kage Bunshin and let it take Mito while she took Naruto and shunshined them to their temporary house. She placed Naruto in the bed and Mito in the next. Naruto groaned as he woke up, feeling stiff all over. He looked around and saw that he is in his bed. He couldn't see Anko, but he guessed she could be looking after Mito. Exiting his room and made his way to kitchen. In the kitchen he saw Anko making some food. How long was I out? He hoped that it wasn't too long. He need to remove stasis seal from Mito. Anko turned to him and offered some water. Not long, almost 2 hours. I placed Mito in the room besides ours, the one I slept at first. I'm making some food for both of you. I bet you're hungry after using so much chakra. Just as she mentioned food, his stomach growled, earning him a giggle from Anko. Here, sit, I'll make some more. Thanks, Anko-chan. Naruto smiled at her, grateful for food. Half an hour later, Naruto and Anko stood beside the bed that Mito was lying in. Anko also brought some food for her. Mito would definitely be hungry after being in stasis for so long. Then I removed the seal, we better give her some space. We don't need to scare her or anything. Anko nodded and stood beside the wall. Naruto made a couple of hand signs and placed a finger on forehead of Mito, channeling some chakra until he saw a seal break and quickly made his way near Anko. First thing Mito felt is numbness. She couldn't even lift a finger. It felt like she was in different body. After a couple of minutes later, numbness started to retreat and she began to stir. But she still couldn't move her body like she wanted. Mito also heard someone whispering between themselves. From the voice she could determine that it is a young boy and woman that they're talking. She didn't really worry about them that much. If she woke up, it means that both of them or one is Uzumaki, and unsealed her. 10 minutes later she finally could move her body, but it still felt strange. She wrote it of a side effect from being in stasis for a long time. Mito opened her eyes and quickly shut them again. She almost got blinded. Sun shone through the window. Her eyes still aren't used to bright light. Couple more tries and her eyes finally adjusted to the light. First thing she saw was ceiling that looked like it needed some serious work to make it look like it used to be. There were holes in it, with cobwebs in the corners. Then she looked in the direction of her two companions. She certainly didn't expect to find a boy around 10 years old and a woman around 20 years old. One thing that shocked her is that none of them have a red hair. Every Uzumaki had a red hair. It was their trademark. The boy wore black pants with dark red shirt with Uzumaki swirl in the center. His blonde hair spiked in every direction. His eyes were something that Mito really liked. He looked at her with his warm blue eyes, that reminded her of the sea. One thing that intrigued her is his whiskers like marks on his cheeks. She hadn't seen anything like that before. She wondered how would it feel to touch it. Blonde-haired boy come forward, smiling at her. Hello Mito. I'm really happy to finally meet you. I'm Naruto Uzumaki, son of Kushina Uzumaki and third Jinchuriki of Kyubi no Yoko. Introduced Naruto himself to Mito. Mito started at the boy, now named Naruto. She couldn't believe that he is the son of little Kushina, but most shocking is that he is the host of Kyubi. But it also meant that Kushina died. She really didn't expect to be released from the seal by the blonde Uzumaki, and certainly not the Jinchuriki of Kyubi. What more is she going to find out? You're host of Kyubi and Uzumaki? But you have blonde hair. And every Uzumaki have red hair. Did Kushina die? Mito almost didn't recognize her own voice. It sounded a little strange, younger. But that can't be, it must be her imagination. I can't believe that Kushina have died. But if he has Kyubi sealed inside himself, then Kushina really have died. Even with our vitality, surviving extraction of Biju is really slim. Thought Mito with sadness. Well, I really am Uzumaki. My father is Minato Namikaze. I got his hair and eyes. Both my father and mother are dead. They died the day I was born, sealing Kyubi into me, and it's not your fault, Akemi. Don't you dare blame yourself over it. Naruto calmly said to Mito. Last part he directed to his goddess. She still blamed herself about it, and he didn't like it. He really enjoyed the look of shock that graced beautiful face of Mito. Before the sealing she looked really beautiful, now she looked just stunning. Soft pink lips on her heart-shaped face, with dark pupilless eyes. Her red hair shining in the sun made them look like fire. It still hurt to know that Kushina have died. She thought of her like a daughter. How long was I in stasis? You look around 10. I don't think I have enough time to teach you a lot. I only have around a month to live. Mito really wanted to know more about Naruto. He could be her only remaining family. Looking at him closely she could see that he really did have some Kushina in him. He has similar shape of face as Kushina, but not so much baby fat as his mother at that age. Naruto shifted where he stood. He forgot that she may not like what he has done. You have more than enough time. We have been here for 3 months, and I found a way to cure you. Naruto hopped that she didn't hate him. Mito stared at Naruto. She couldn't believe that this boy could cure damage left from Biju extraction. Her chakra system was almost gone. She tried molding her chakra, and to her shock she could. She didn't feel any pain or other effects that should be there after Kyubi extraction. It felt just like before she sealed Kyubi into herself. But how? It should be impossible to heal such damage to chakra system. It was almost destroyed. She couldn't believe that something like this is possible. Her chakra coils were almost completely destroyed, and now it's like new. Well, you see, it took me 3 months to come up with a seal that could cure you. If you didn't notice, you look like in your early 20s. I made a seal that literally reversed your body like it was at that time. Naruto didn't know how she felt about it. On her face the only emotion that is that of shock. Mito thought that he was joking, but with his serious face it didn't look like it. She looked at her hands only to see smooth young skin. Mito looked around the room and spotted a mirror. She quickly made her way to it. Looking at herself she couldn't help but look at herself in shock and amazement. She didn't think that she would ever see herself like this again. There stood beautiful woman. She looked around 5.7 with long red hair that reached past her shoulders. Her body athletic and you could clearly see that she is strong, but she still remained her feminine figure. With D-cup, slim waist and round butt, she looked really beautiful. I'm young again. I can't believe that he was able to design a seal like that. I'm seal master and helped design a Shiki Fujin, and it's one of the most complex seal Uzumaki had created. But even I could only imagine complexity of the seal that is capable to revert a body to what it used to be. Mito looked at Naruto, only to see that he wasn't looking at her. He also looked like he is blushing. Anko looked at her in amusement. At first Mito didn't understand what's going on, but one more glace to mirror made it all clear. She stood only in her underwear. She had a white lace bra with matching panties. Mito blushed in embarrassment, and quickly returned to bed and covered herself. She may be mentally old, but she still felt embarrassed being seen just in her underwear. What else has changed? And what happened to you too? And don't leave anything out. I want to know what happened since I left. She really wanted to know what have changed. It took almost 3 hours for Naruto and Anko to tell Mito everything that happened since she left Konoha. He left some details that he didn't want her to know right now. Naruto decided to leave Mito so that she could rest and process all the information. Mito just stared blankly into ceiling. She didn't want to sleep, she had plenty of it. And it's not like she even could sleep with all the information she just got. How could something like that happen? So much has changed that I don't even know what to do. To think that Naruto had to endure all these things. What that Sarutobi brat was thinking. The moment he announced that Kyubi was sealed into Naruto, he took all the chance the boy had at happiness. Well, I guess I can't really complain. If it wasn't for that I don't think I would be here, and what's more, cured from Biju extraction. Looking one more time at the mirror, she still couldn't believe that she regained her youth. With Naruto and Anko. Both Naruto and Anko there lying in the bed, cuddling next to each other, feeling content at familiar warmth. Naruto, how do you think she will react when you tell her about Akemi? From what you have told me, they didn't have most pleasant relationship. Anko rested her head on his chest. Naruto didn't say anything for a couple of minutes. He knew it would take some time for Mito to adjust the idea that Kyuubi is good, and the fact that it's a she and he's her mate really going to shock her. I don't know how she'll react, but it's going to take her some time to trust Akemi. Akemi isn't angry at Mito now, but she doesn't trust her any more than Mito her. Naruto knew that Akemi mostly did it for him, and he really appreciated it. Are you going to invite her to go with us to the mist? She would be big help in the war. Don't know. First I'll ask her if she accepts Akemi. I don't want any animosity between us. Naruto really hoped that Mito would forget any hate she had for Akemi. With her help he could free Akemi from the seal that much faster. I don't think she will hate you or Akemi. She was a host for Akemi too. Even if they weren't on best terms, she would understand how you feel. Anko kissed Naruto on the cheek. She knew that he really wanted for Mito to accept Akemi and be friends. She is his only remaining family, and he don't want to lose it because of some grudge. Naruto looked at Anko and smiled, really glad for having her by his side. Thanks, Anko-chan. Kissing her on the lips, he hugged her tighter. Anko blushed a little. She wouldn't tell anyone, but hearing the way Naruto said her name made her really happy. Over 3 months that they're together, they become even closer. She knew that he's in love with Akemi, but being with him made her feel really special. She also knew that she loved him. He may not feel the same love for her as for Akemi, but she's determined to change that. Anko drifted to sleep with warm smile on her face. Next day, Mito opened her blurry eyes, still disoriented from her night's sleep. Looking around at unfamiliar place, she tried to remember. There she is. Couple seconds later, the events of last night come back to her. She still had a hard time believing some of them. Looking at her hands, she smiled slightly. She may be a ninja and an old one, but she's a woman, and being young again wasn't unwelcome. Hearing someone open the door, she looked to see that it's purple-haired woman. If she remembered correctly, her name is Anko. Good morning, Mito. I hope you had a good night's rest. Breakfast is ready. Come down when you're ready. In the closet are some clothes that should fit you. Smiling, Anko left Mito to change. 10 minutes later, Mito walked into kitchen to see Naruto and Anko having breakfast and chatting happily. Both of them turned to her, then they sensed her, and Naruto smiled brightly. Mito, I hope you had a good night's rest. Come sit, we have some more to discuss after breakfast. Taking her seat next to Naruto, she began eating. Thanks, I really did have plenty of rest. So what are we going to discuss? That's good. First let's have breakfast. Then we're finished, we will discuss some important things, but not now. After breakfast everyone went to where Mito first woke up. Sitting on the bed, Mito could see that Naruto looked slightly nervous. Both Anko and Naruto were sitting opposite of her, next to each other. Anko also had his hand in hers. Naruto first started talking. Not everything I said to you yesterday. I told you that I have Kyuubi sealed inside me. What you don't know is that Kyuubi has a name, and it's Akemi, and I plan on releasing her. Mito looked shocked. She didn't think that Kyuubi has a gender, and it's female, and would even have a name. She always thought it was just a mass of chakra with thoughts. Hearing that he wanted to release her, she was about to protest, but Naruto interrupted her. Don't you dare say that Akemi is evil and shouldn't be released. You may think that, but it's not true. How would you feel being controlled and then sealed? Why, there were no records of Kyuubi attacking any village until Madara used her in the battle with Shodai. It's not her fault. Anyone would be angry after being sealed. You also didn't give her a chance. Mito looked down, not meeting his eyes. She didn't have an excuse for being like that. The first time she went to see Kyuubi, all she got was death threats and insults, so she believed that Kyuubi was just a mindless beast that all it knew was destruction. But thinking now, she may have jumped to conclusion. Being controlled and then sealed, denying its freedom would make anyone angry. Sorry, I guess I didn't think that it could be anything else. Still not meeting his eyes, said Mito. It's alright, now you have a chance to know her better. You also need to know that Kyuubi, Akemi as her name is my girlfriend, as is Anko. I want your help in freeing Akemi from the seal. Mito, hearing that Kyuubi is his girlfriend, her eyes quickly shot up, eyes in disbelief. It's one thing to hear that Kyuubi is woman and has feelings just like everyone, but knowing that she also has a boyfriend that's only 11 years old and is sitting in front of her with his other girlfriend is something she wouldn't have thought in a million years. Who the hell is this kid? I could understand the seal he made, even if it's hard to believe, is because he's Uzumaki, and really talented one at that. But he already has 2 girlfriends, and one is none other than Kyuubi, the 9-tailed fox. What's next? He's Sage of 6th Path Incarnation? It's just the 2nd day that she's awake, and she has been more shocked in these 2 days than whole life. Congratulations. Mito wanted to hit her head for saying something like that. But seeing the corner of his lips twitch, she thought it was the right thing. Thanks. I know it's kind of hard to believe. Akemi doesn't hate you and agreed to try and become friends. I just need your help in freeing her. You're the one that helped to design the Shikifujin. With your help it would be much safer to free Akemi. Even if Naruto already have a plan how to free Akemi, he didn't want to risk. He may know how to remove and free Akemi, but the seal is powered by Death God itself. Naruto didn't know what consequences would be if he did something to the seal that it wasn't meant to. He needed someone who helped design the seal to help him. Mito knew he wasn't laying her about anything, and she could see how much he wanted to free Kyubi, Akemi. She may not be friends with Akemi, but they could become, even if how unlikely that sounded. But Naruto is her only remaining family that she knew of, and she didn't want to lose him just because she couldn't let go of her prejudice. Okay, I'll help you. We weren't on good terms, but I hope you're right and Akemi and I can become good friends. The smile she got from Naruto was really worth it. It was the brightest and warmest smile she had ever seen someone make. She couldn't help but respond one of her own. Naruto stood up and quickly made his way to where Mito sat and hugged her. Thank you? You don't know how happy I'm that you agreed to help me. Mito awkwardly returned his hug. Who can blame her? The last time she was hugged was by her late husband before that whole Madara incident. Being hugged again, she really didn't complain. Feeling content, she rested her head against his shoulder and closed her eyes, enjoying his warmth and the feeling of having someone there for her. You can let go now. Mito's eyes snapped open hearing Naruto say that. She quickly let go of him. Sorry. She looked away, embarrassed and blushing a little. It's okay, I kind of like so it's okay. Naruto smiled at her. He thought she looked cute while blushing. Okay, you two lovebirds, we still have more to discuss. You can flirt later. But you can't sleep with him, that place is already mine. The bed is too small for all of us, you'll have to wait for your turn. Anko couldn't help but laugh at them. Mito's face looked really red from embarrassment. Naruto looked better, already used to her teasing. Right, ignoring Anko, he got interrupted by said purple-haired woman. Hey, that's not nice. She pouted. As I said, there's one more thing that we need to discuss. As I said yesterday, we're going to rebuild Yuzu, but first we plan to go to Kiri and help in rebellion. We need allies and also resources to rebuild everything. If we help Kiri rebels win their war, and manage to play a significant role, we could get a lot of influence. You don't need to decide now if you want to come with us and aid in the war. I just want to know what you think my plan. Naruto knew his plan is far from perfect. A lot could go wrong, but it's the fastest way to get back Yuzu from Kiri and make some money. Mito thought that it isn't very good plan, but from what Naruto had told her it would be with the most benefit. They couldn't just go bounty hunting, it would take too long and they would really need a lot of money to get Uzumaki from Kiri without any incident. They really didn't need to start war with just the three of them. Even if they have Kyubi, it would do more damage than good. Other countries would see them as hostile, and with just the three of them and easy picking, Kyubi as a bonus. Even if it's risky plan, I don't think there are better one. And I will go with you. It's my dream to rebuild Yuzu and you're my family, I won't leave you. You could clearly hear determination in her voice. Naruto smiled at her, glad that she agreed to come with them. I'm very happy to hear that. We're going to train for 2 months, then we're going bounty hunting for 1 month, and then we'll be leaving for Kiri. Mito looked slightly confused. Why bounty hunting? Wouldn't it be better to just go to Kiri? I need experience in fighting real enemy shinobi. I don't even have my first kill. I don't want to freeze in the middle of war. I also want to have some experience in life and death battles. Naruto didn't want to die just because he lacked experience in fighting. Oh, when I'm going to teach everything I know and I'll make sure you won't die. Naruto shuddered, then he saw the gleam in her eyes. Anko looked between Naruto and Mito. She saw how Naruto shuddered at the look in Mito's eyes and couldn't help getting excited. Oh, this is going to be so fun. She couldn't contain herself. Naruto looked from Mito to Anko and back. There the hell did I get myself into? Naruto thought, and he could hear Akemi laughing in the back of his mind. 2 months later, 4 figures were standing on the water near the shore of Uzumaki. From the fact that they were standing on the water, they could only be shinobi. Some could mistake them for being just like other shinobi, but they couldn't be further from the truth. From first glance you could see that something is strange about them. 3 of the figures have red hair and 1 has a purple hair. Of the 3 figures, only 1 is male, and women besides him one's of the most beautiful in the whole elemental nations. The purple-haired woman stood at the height of 5'6" with spiky hair tied up. She wore dark blue coat with hood and a swirl on the back, black skin tight shorts with dark orange skirt, and dark red tank top with fishnet undershirt. She's none other than Anko Mitarashi, ex-Konoha Kunoichi. Her headband placed around waist, as a belt, but instead of leaf symbol on it, now it replaced Uzumaki's swirl. Second women stood at around 5'7" with long red hair that reached past waist. She wore black pants that reached past her knees and they're wrapped with red bandages. She also wore tight red shirt, and just like Anko she wore coat, but hers is dark red, almost black, with hood that didn't do a good job in concealing her impressive D-cup. This beautiful woman is none other than Mito Uzumaki, ex-wife of Shodai Hokage. Her headband proudly displayed on her forehead. The last woman didn't look any less impressive than the first 2. She wore red sleeveless battle dress that emphasized her figure. Just like her 2 companions, she wore a coat with hood, but hers is scarlet red in color. Her red hair tied in ponytail. Her eyes as red as her hair looked exotic with her slitted pupil. This woman's name is Akemi or Kyubi no Kitsune, the strongest of Biju. She is also holding the hand of the last member of their party. Holding the hand of Akemi is none other than Naruto Uzumaki, ex-Jinchuriki of Kyubi. His appearance changed much over the last 2 months. His hair a little longer but still spiky as ever, but now it's red in color. His once deep blue eyes now are far darker, but they didn't lose their shine, as you could clearly see determination in them. His whisker marks on his cheeks looked more pronounced, giving him exotic look. He is also really tall for his age, about 5.5, dressed in dark blue pants, with pouches on either his legs the same color as his pants. Around his belt there are several scrolls. Naruto also wore dark red sleeveless shirt with mesh undershirt. On his shirt is big Uzumaki swirl. His coat is the same as the one that Mito has, and on his forehead is proudly displayed a headband with Uzumaki symbol. I'm going to miss being here. These past months made this place new home, said Anko as she gazed at Yuzu. Yeah, I know how you feel. But it's only temporary. Then we rebuild Yuzu completely, we won't need to leave our home for a long time and have a family. Mito agreeing with Anko. Naruto, are you sure it's alright to start collecting bounties? You still haven't recovered your chakra control as it was before. You'll really need it, and Kiri Akemi said, looking concerned at Naruto. Hey, don't look like that. You know it's not your fault. And you know that I won't have my control back for a year at least. With how much chakra is left in the seal, it'll take minimum a year for it to be absorbed into me. Reassured Naruto, giving her a bright smile. With how unsealing went, Naruto was more concerned for Akemi than himself. To unseal her from Naruto, they had to leave half of her chakra in the seal and also give her one half of Naruto's chakra. The sealing would be far simpler, but Akemi wanted to have a real body. The one that she had was still made from chakra, and she just couldn't have children, and because of it was far more difficult to design a seal that could that. Both Naruto and Mito managed to design a seal that would free Akemi from Naruto, and wouldn't have any damage to Host or Biju. Naruto was really grateful for Mito's help, as she was one of the seal masters who designed Shikifujin, so she knew how it worked, and made a key to unlock it. But that still didn't make the unsealing any easier. Because Minato, being so smart as to seal only yang half Akemi's chakra, only made unsealing more difficult. Without Yin chakra, Akemi couldn't live outside the seal without going insane. Every living being is made out of Yin and Yang chakra, and no one can live with only one half. In order for Akemi to live outside the seal, they had to split, and give Akemi 3/4 of Naruto's Yin chakra to compensate for the missing part. Akemi also had to leave more than half of her chakra so that it wouldn't overwhelm Naruto's. Even if she lost half of her chakra, it wouldn't take long for her to recover all her reserves now that she has Yin half of chakra. But because of Naruto's Yin chakra, it lessened her dense chakra and malicious feeling. The hardest part was making Akemi her own body. Both Mito and Anko had to donate a couple of pins of blood. One thing that we're glad was about the progress that Naruto made in an attempt to give Anko the bloodline of Uzumaki. It wasn't success, it just was insanely difficult. Naruto found that for it to be successful he needed to alter every single cell and reconstruct DNA. Something like that was out of reach for Naruto, but the research helped immensely in designing the seal that helped make body for Akemi. With the help of Mito, he also managed to make a seal that strengthened his Uzumaki blood. Mito also had to alter Naruto's seal so that the chakra left after Akemi wouldn't harm him, but it would be converted to his own. The process was also speed up, and because of it Naruto has more Yang chakra than Yin, which messes his chakra control. With control problem he lost some of his most powerful and control demanding jutsu, but he still has more than enough. One thing Naruto wanted to cry about is that couldn't use his wind affinity to fly, because now the seal sends constant pulses of chakra into his system and making them disproportional. His control got shot to help until the seal finishes its job. Well, at least he still can use his taijutsu. But Naruto didn't think it's a big price to pay for having Akemi with him. In his opinion it's really small price, because in every book he had read it said that every Biju extraction ended in Host's death. Having Mito helping him really made things easier, especially then she knew the key required to open the seal. Another thing that Naruto was happy about is that he finally got a chance to meet his parents. Well, his mother at least. As for father, Naruto didn't like him that much, and after the meeting he wasn't very fond of being related to him. Shame he only got to kick his ass once. He was also a bit disappointed. Naruto knew that his father was powerful with his Hiraishin, but he expected something more. Naruto smiled at the memory of his father after he saw Akemi. Or the look on his face. Then both Akemi and Naruto pranked Minato a little, who said that revenge didn't bring satisfaction, clearly didn't know what he was talking about. Well, until his father ruined everything.